Greetings of the day, dear students. I hope you all have done really well in today's GATE examination. I am Iftikhar Ahmed and I am having along with me Rajkumar sir. We welcome you all to this GATE solutions live session, and I am starting here with analog electronics. First, Rajkumar sir will take up a couple of questions, and after that I will also discuss one more question.
Thank you, sir. First two questions I will try to do it. Next to op amp, one more question is there. Iftikhar sir will take that question. Okay. Thank you. Chalo, I am doing first question now. If you see this first question, it is looking series regulator question, BJT series regulator question. In this, the Zener diode in the circuit has a breakdown voltage of 5 volts. It has given 5 volts breakdown voltage. The current gain beta of the transistor is 99, okay, and there is some extra resistor is given 10 ohms. Please observe this point, and across the load he has given 20 ohms. There is 7K resistor in series, 25 volts. Okay, how to do this problem? Let us see. So, if I redraw this circuit, just 1 minute. Here only we will do it. First, Zener diode is on or off. Let us check one time. Sometimes Zener diode will be off, sometimes it will be on according to the question. Let us take this Zener diode as open circuit for some time. Let us understand whether it is on or off. And in the problem he has given the VB voltage as 0 volts. He said VB as 0 volts because emitter voltage drop is neglected here. So this is 0 volts, this is open circuit here. Now the current passing through 7K, let us take this as IR. Current is passing through 7K is IR, and one more current is passing through BJT is IC. And this current cannot go to Zener diode because I have taken open circuit there, and this current can go as IB. So here IR is equal to IB in this circuit, and IB plus IC going to 10 ohms resistor will be IE current, and across the load we have a current IL. This is the situation you are seeing when Zener diode is open circuit. Now the point here is IR is equal to IB we are seeing here, okay, IR is equal to IB. So we can have a KVL, we can have a simple KVL like this, applying a KVL simply in this manner you can apply KVL, so that we can find out some parameter like current IB we can find out. So if I apply KVL, we have 25 volts is equal to IR, which is equal to IB only. Here IR, IB both are same I have taken. So IB into 7K plus, this is one drop, next drop here is VB is 0 volts, plus we have IE into 10 ohms, IE into 10 ohms, and when this is open circuit, IE and IL both are same here. So again plus IL we have to write IE only, IE into 20 ohms. So this is the way you are getting one KVL equation, okay. So now we will change into one current parameter, IB into 7K plus, we have IB, IE, we can convert IE to IB or IB to IE, whatever you like. If I want to convert IE to IB, it is 1 plus beta times of IB into 30 ohms. So this is the equation you are seeing. Now we will substitute the values. 25 volts is equal to IB, keep it like that only, IB keep it like that. This is 7K, this is beta 99, 99 plus 1 is 100, 100 into 30, it will become 3000 ohms, which is equal to 3K. So 3K plus 7K. So this is the way if you do it, you can find out the base current, IB current we can find out. IB is equal to 25 volts divided by 10K. So this is base current, which is coming to be 2.5 milliamperes. So IB we are expecting 2.5 milliamperes. As IB is completed, we can find out the IE current here. So IE is equal to 1 plus beta times of IB, 1 plus beta times of IB, which is 100 into 2.5 milliamperes, which is equal to, which is around 250 milliamperes, 250 milliamperes. So this is the current we got, but we have done an assumption Zener is on or off, we do not know. If it is suppose off, I think IE and IL both will be same. So your answer is across the load how much the current is asking. So let us simply test this circuit voltage. Whatever the drop you have at 10 ohms, the total voltage drop should be parallel here to Zener diode. How much the voltage here we are getting is 250 milliamps into 10 ohms, we are getting around 2.5 volts. This is 2.5, but the breakdown voltage given in the Zener diode is 5 volts. So I think you are not exceeding the Zener voltage. So Zener is considered to be off. So whatever assumption we have done, that is correct in this problem. So according to this question, IE is equal to IL for us. So whatever the answer you got, this answer will be equal to IL. So finally for this question, the answer should be 250 milliamperes. I think according to the given information, this is a NET question, I think it is a fill in the blank. 250 milliamps will be the good answer for this question. Who has solved, you can correct this answer. And I think it is clear for you. Next question we are going to deal, which is a diode problem. So this question is somewhat lengthy question, I think. It has 2 marks question validity, I think. This type of question in MEDC workbook also, if you see, there are 3 diode problem in the first chapter of diodes. In the workbook, I think most of the students are telling, it is a 3 diode switching problems. In this question, according to the options, they have given a switch here, yes. The switch is on for some options we got, switch off we got some options. I think both you have to check now. When switch is on, what happens? When switch is off, what happens? So it takes some explanation for you. Let us start with switch on. If I take switch on, yeah, next slide, yeah. Let us start with the second question. Switch, I take color, yeah. When switch is on, I have taken. When I consider switch is on here, the circuit looks like this. I am redrawing the circuit. It is 10 volts battery having a current source of 4 amperes. Next we have a diode D2. Next we have given one battery here, 20 volts. There is a current given again 2 amperes. Next we have one more diode here, which is a D1 diode, and the switch is short here. I am taking a short circuit switch here. This switch, S is short, and next we have a diode, a D3, and battery we have is 40 volts. So whenever 3 diode problems comes, most of the students will get tension. Why? Because 3 diode switching will take more time. But I already told you in the classroom that whenever 3 switches are there, one switch is dummy here. By observation only you can tell whether that switch is on or off. If you see properly, here there is a short in this switch. Whenever there is a short here, can I say this will become 0 volts? This will become 0 directly, ground. By 0 and 40, by just observation without doing anything, we can say D3 is off. So by observation, we can say simply by observation D3 is off. So this is the status, easily you can tell. By observation D3 is off because anode voltage is 0, cathode is 40, completed. So 3 diodes became 2 diodes only in the circuit. Let me redraw 2 diodes now. 10 volts, next a current 4 amperes, next D2 with a battery of 20 volts, next we have a current of 2 amperes with a short. The switch is short circuit. and we have one more diode, that is D1, which is connected. I think the circuit is like this now. Okay. If you see this circuit, one diode is off already, only two diodes we have to check now. If you want to check, we have four possibilities, D1 off, D2 off, like that, D1 on. So trial and error will apply. The first observation here is D1, D2, suppose I assumed off, both are off. At that time, the 4 amperes current cannot flow both sides. That means KCL will get violated. So D1, D2 cannot happen off at a time. So we will take another chance. Suppose I assume D1 as on, D2 as off. Suppose if this is correct, I will stop here only. Okay, trial and error. Second option. First option cannot happen, D1 off, D2 off, it cannot be possible because KCL will get violated. So let me start D1 on, D2 off. D1 I am taking on, D2 I will assume off. The circuit looks like this. Plus 10 volts. We have a current of 4 amperes. Next D2 will take open with a battery of 20 volts. Next we have a current of 2 amperes with a short, switch is short, and we have a diode here. We have a diode which is D1. We made this as on. D1 will take it as short circuit. We will assume that D1 is short now. When D1 is short circuit, correctly if you observe, this voltage is 0 volts. That voltage will come here. Okay, directly 0 volts. We will check that whether D2 is off or not. According to our assumption, your D2 position, if you see this side is 0, this side is 20. By this observation we can tell D2 is getting off, because anode side we have 0 volts, cathode side we have 20 volts. So this is simple to tell you, D1 on when I have done, D2 is getting off. So I think this assumption is looking correct. Okay, with no need of going to other two trial and error methods. Directly we can give a conclusion that our assumption is correct. Our assumption is perfect. Our assumption is correct. Our assumption is correct. So finally, what is the answer we are expecting when it is short circuit is D1 we are getting on, D2 we are getting off, and D3 we are getting off when the switch is short circuit, when the switch is on or switch is short circuit. Okay, when the switch is maintaining a short position, D1 on, D2 off, D3 off, we are getting this option already there in the one of the option you can see. If you go back and see, these are the options they have given. When switch is off, D1 is reverse bias. Okay, and switch is off, another one. At the C option, if you say switch is on, D1 conducts, D2 and D3 getting reverse bias. I think this option will be good. And not only that, this question I am expecting MSQ question it is, because some more options are there. D1 off also we have to check. This only I have been tested for D on condition, switch on condition. Let us analyze for D off also. Here only I will finish that one, second option. Let me see one more option. When switch is off, suppose we have taken switch is off condition. The switch is open, or we can say switch is in open condition. Sorry, we should not say off, switch is in open condition. Switch is in open condition. Next slide. We will take switch is open condition. When switch is in open condition, the circuit looks like this. This is a 10 volts battery, 4 amperes current. Next diode we have, this is a D2. We have a battery of 20 volts. Next a current source of 2 amperes. The switch is open now. A D3 with a battery of 40 volts. And we have a diode like this, D1. So when switch is open, it looks like this, the circuit. Here also very easy to explain you the concept. D2, D3, suppose I kept like that only in the circuit. I'll just assume D1 is off, that cap whatever you are saying D1, I'll make it off. What happens? If I assume this is off, assume D1 is off. It is very easy to confirm now D2, D3 positions whether they are on and off. If you see correctly, when D1 is getting off in the assumption, the current 4 amperes will go directly to D2 in forward bias. The current is going in forward, so D2 will become on when D1 is off. And not only that, this current will divide into 2 parts and 2 amperes will go directly to D3 in forward. So by observation you can tell very simply, by observation. Here we can tell 2 diode positions very easily. D2 and D3 will be on by observation. The current is going in forward direction, so D2, D3 will be on. Only one thing we have to check is that D1 is on or off, we have to check. That's why we have to replace this model with 2 diodes on now. 10 volts battery, next we have a current source 4 amperes, we have a short here D2 with a battery of 20 volts, next we have a current of 2 amperes with a short again D3 with a battery of 40 volts. Just we have to check this diode D1 position. Just we have to check the D1 position. So this position we have to check whether it is on or off. We will confirm it. When this is short circuit, this 20 volts will come here. There is a 20 here, and this side we will have 40. So your diode position D1 is like this. So whatever assumption we have made here, that is correct, because anode side we have 20, cathode side we have 40 volts. So D1 is getting off. So finally we can confirm when the switch is open, D1 is getting off, but D2 and D3 is getting on. So according to this status, this is the answer. And in the option, if you see, go back and see the option. Not only option C is correct here, there is one more option you can see, option A. When the switch S is off, D1 is reverse bias, he has given. Yes, D1 is reverse bias when the switch is open, when the switch is off. So this is also correct. So in MSQ question you can see multiple answers. I am expecting A and C will be the correct answers. Now there is one more question we got, that is based on op amp. My friend Iftikhar sir will take that one. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajkumar sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
I hope students you have done those 2 questions correctly. There was one more question which came from analog, and that question is based on op amp. Okay, let me take up that question now. Well, this was the question which came from op amp topic, and it was an easy question. There are multiple diodes here. These are like normal diodes. Let me just name them. Let us say this is D1, this is D1, and this I call D2. And this is a Zener diode with a breakdown voltage about 5 volt, and it was told that these are ideal diodes, and Zener diode has a breakdown voltage of about 5 volt, and input is mentioned as 100 sin omega t. I mean input has value changing from plus 100 to minus 100 volt, and input is changing sinusoidally. And we have to tell here what will be maximum output and minimum output voltage. Now the first thing you need to observe here is in this op amp circuit, input is applied towards inverting terminal. Now please remember, whenever input given towards inverting terminal, that output will be out of phase. I mean if input is positive, then V0 will be negative, or if input is negative, then V0 becomes positive. So this basic property we need to apply here. Okay, so let me consider first input as positive, and let us say maximum value 100 volt. Okay, let me consider input positive and max value, max Vi, it is 100 volt. Now if input is 100 volt, then definitely this voltage has to be negative, it has to be a negative value. If V0 is negative, then you can tell by observation that D2 should be in reverse bias. Okay, if V0 is negative, then D2 should be in reverse bias and D1 should be in forward bias. So here I am getting a situation D2 reverse biased and D1 in forward bias, and we need not worry about Zener diode because already this diode D2 acting like an open circuit here, so Zener diode will have no effect on our calculation here. Okay, and if I redraw the circuit, it will be in this way. Non-inverting terminal is grounded here, and this is resistor R. Here is the input. This branch has become open and D1 is in on condition, so the circuit will look like this. D1 is in forward bias. Okay, now if you notice, this looks perfectly like a inverting type amplifier. This circuit looks like a inverting type amplifier, and if you write the output here, that output should be minus R2 upon R1 into Vi minus R divided by R into Vi, or we get output minus Vi. Now here the highest value for input is 100 volt. If I put Vi as 100, it will become minus 100. But can we get output minus 100 volt? Not possible. In the given question, they have shown supply voltages. This was 15 volt and this is minus 15. Now everybody knows well that for an op amp, output voltage cannot be greater than the supply voltage. Here I am getting output minus 100, which is practically not possible. It simply indicates that output is saturated. Whenever we get output greater than supply, it means V0 is saturated. So here the correct value for V0, it should be minus 15. Output should be minus 15. Now this becomes the minimum value for output voltage. Okay, when input is like 100 volt, output can become minus 15 volt. So this becomes the minimum output. Let us now check what will be output when input has a negative cycle. Okay, input is sinusoidal, so it will have positive cycle then followed by negative cycle, right? Now let me consider input becoming negative. In the negative cycle, input can decrease up to minus 100 volt. Okay, now if input becomes minus 100, I am considering here negative cycle. Vi equal to minus 100. Now when input is minus 100, that V0 has to be positive value. Okay, input is given towards inverting terminal, so when input is negative, output must be positive value. Now look at the circuit here. If this V0 is positive, then D2 should be in forward bias and D1 should be in reverse bias. Okay, let me just redraw the circuit here. The circuit will look like this. This is resistor R. Now we have here a Zener diode, and this diode we are taking as on. This is your normal diode. Okay, we have named it as diode D2. So this diode D2 is in on condition here, and the D1 is in off condition. So let me just mention here, D1 will be in reverse bias and D2 in forward bias. I hope everybody followed this point. When output is positive, D2 will be in forward bias and D1 will be in reverse bias. And we have to decide here that what will be the maximum value for V0. Okay, we should tell here the maximum value for output voltage. Now what happens here is, as we go on making input more and more negative, that Zener diode can go into breakdown also. If you have sufficiently 5 volt available here, then automatically Zener diode will go into breakdown. If the Zener diode goes into breakdown, across Zener diode you will have a voltage how much? 5 volt. I hope the point is understood. If input is sufficiently negative, you may get a value V0 equal to 5 here, and with V0 5 volt, this Zener diode will go into breakdown, and once Zener diode goes into breakdown, that output will remain equal to 5 volt only. If you just observe V0 minus 0, this node is at virtual ground, okay, there is a virtual ground here. So if you just write output by observation, it is like V0 minus 0 is equal to 5 volt. So I am getting output 5 volt. So finally in this question we can say maximum output is 5 volt and minimum output is minus 15 volt. So this was a question on op-amp circuit, and all these questions are memory based, and we have given this solution according to whatever data we have received from the students. So presuming that this data is correct, the answer for this question is max V0 5 volt and minimum V0 minus 15 volt. And there are, I think, 1 or 2 more questions which came from analog, but for those questions we did not receive data, so we are not in a position to give solution for that. So please wait for the next subject. I think the next subject will be mostly signals and systems. Please stay tuned for another 1 minute.
Good evening everyone. So myself Rohit Kumar Tripathi, and along with me Naveen sir is here, and we are going to explain answers of signal and system. Okay, so one by one we are going to solve some questions. I will solve, and the remaining questions Naveen sir will solve. So let us see what is the first question. So this is the question, and it is like this. This question is related to DTFT and DTFS both. तो डाटा कुछ ऐसा है, x of n का DTFT x of psi given है, and with the help of this x of n, question is saying that we have to form a new signal, and that signal is xpn. So what is the second function xpn, और xpn कैसा है? पीरियोडिक. अच्छा, xpn का टाइम पीरियड कितना है? 5, and the relationship between xpn and x of n is already given. Xpn is equal to x of n for n equal to 0, 1, 2, and xpn will be 0 for n equal to 3 and 4। तो क्वेश्चन कुछ ऐसा है। अब यहाँ पर एक शॉर्टकट है, अगर आपको शॉर्टकट आता है तो ये क्वेश्चन बहुत ही फास्ट सॉल्व हो जाएगा, अदरवाइज इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करने में फिर टाइम लगता है। शॉर्टकट कुछ ऐसा है, ध्यान से आप देखना, ठीक है। सो व्हाट इज एक्सपीएन? एक्सपीएन इज रिपीटेशन ऑफ एक्स ऑफ एन। एक्स ऑफ एन नॉन पीरियोडिक है, एक्सपीएन पीरियोडिक है, और एक्स ऑफ एन के रिपीटेशन से क्या फॉर्म हुआ? एक्सपीएन। सो suppose exponential coefficient for xpn is ak, and question is saying that we have to calculate magnitude of the Fourier series coefficient ak at k equal to 3। तो दोस्तों हमें करना क्या है, ak का मैग्नीट्यूड कैलकुलेट करना है k इक्वल टू 3 पर। यहाँ थोड़ा डाटा मिसिंग है तो मैंने लिख दिया, ठीक है। अब एक रिलेशनशिप है, वो रिलेशनशिप क्या है? एक एक्स ऑफ साई से डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड होता है, और एक रिलेशनशिप कुछ ऐसा है, ए के इज इक्वल टू एक्स ऑफ के साई नॉट अपॉन टाइम पीरियड एन, ठीक है। एक्स ऑफ साई ऑलरेडी गिवन है, साई एक्स ऑफ साई में साई को रिप्लेस करो के साई नॉट से, फिर डिवाइड करो टाइम पीरियड एन से, एंड व्हाट इज साई नॉट? साई नॉट इज 2 पाई अपॉन टाइम पीरियड। तो टाइम पीरियड कितना है? टाइम पीरियड है 5, तो साई नॉट कितना? 2 पाई बाई 5। ओके, अच्छा अब इसके बाद एक मिनट, ठीक है। तो एक्स ऑफ के साई नॉट, तो आप क्या लिखते हैं? एक्स ऑफ साई गिवन है, इसमें साई को रिप्लेस करो के साई नॉट से, तो आप इस फॉर्म में लिखते 1 प्लस कॉस के साई नॉट इंटू किससे मल्टीप्लाई करूंगा? e की पावर माइनस जे के साई नॉट से। ओके, अच्छा साई नॉट की वैल्यू पुट करना है, तो मैं लिखूंगा 1 प्लस कॉस के साई नॉट कितना है? 2 पाई बाई 5 इंटू ई की पावर माइनस जे के साई नॉट। साई नॉट इज हाउ मच? 2 पाई बाई 5। अब इसके बाद ए के कैलकुलेट करना है, के इक्वल टू 3 पर, तो के को 3 से रिप्लेस करो, तो आप ए3 कैलकुलेट करते, ए3 आप लिखते 1 प्लस कॉस 3 इंटू 2 पाई विल बी हाउ मच? 6 पाई, सो 6 पाई बाई 5 इंटू ई की पावर माइनस जे, के को 3 पुट करो तो 6 पाई बाई 5, इस फॉर्म में लिखते। और दोस्तों हमें यहाँ पर क्या करना है, जो भी ए3 आया इसका मैग्नीट्यूड लिखना है। सो इन द नेक्स्ट स्टेप वी आर गोइंग टू कैलकुलेट मैग्नीट्यूड, सो मॉडुलस ऑफ ए3। अब अगर आप मॉडुलस लेंगे तो ये जो टर्म है ये तो कॉम्प्लेक्स एक्सपोनेंशियल है, तो इसका मैग्नीट्यूड कितना है? 1। सो मॉड ए3 विल बी इक्वल टू 1 प्लस कॉस 6 पाई बाई 5 मैग्नीट्यूड, बिकॉज मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ दिस कॉम्प्लेक्स एक्सपोनेंशियल इज हाउ मच? 1। ओके, अच्छा मॉडुलस ऑफ 1 प्लस कॉस 6 पाई बाई 5, कॉस 6 पाई बाई 5 हमने कैलकुलेट किया है, इसकी वैल्यू है माइनस 0.809, तो इसकी वैल्यू दोस्तों कितनी आएगी? माइनस 0.809। अच्छा यहाँ पर एक टर्म भी मिसिंग है, ये जो कैपिटल एन टाइम पीरियड है वो भी मुझे लिखना था। टाइम पीरियड कितना है? 5, तो 1/5, तो हर जगह ये फैक्टर 1/5 मिसिंग था, तो वो मैं मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा हूँ, तो यहाँ पर भी 1/5 आएगा, तो यहाँ ये जो वैल्यू है 5 से डिवाइड होगी, तो 1 माइनस 0.809 डिवाइडेड बाई 5, अगर आप इसको कैलकुलेट करेंगे तो आंसर कितना आएगा? 0.038, तो आंसर आएगा 0.038। ओके, अच्छा तो अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करते हैं। लेट अस सी व्हाट इज नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। ओके, सो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नवीन सर, कैन यू सॉल्व दिस? ओके, तो अभी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नवीन सर सॉल्व करेंगे, उसके बाद फिर मैं आऊंगा वापस सॉल्व करने के लिए।
Hello students, so the question number 2, a signal x of t is equal to 2 cos of 180 pi into t and cos of 60 pi into t is sampled at 200 Hz and then passed through an ideal low pass filter having cutoff frequency of 100 Hz. The maximum frequency present in the filtered signal in Hz is, so round up to the nearest integer he was asking, so maximum frequency at the filtered signal, that's filter output he was asking. So if you see here, solution for this question, so given x of t, if you see the given x of t is equal to 2 cos of 180 pi into t into cos of 60 pi into t is given. So it looks like 2 cos A cos B, then we can write cos of A plus B. So cos of A plus B means 180 pi into t plus 60 pi into t, that become as 240 pi into t, plus cos of A minus B, 180 minus 60, that become 120 pi into t, so 120 pi into t. So this is nothing but we can write in terms of FM1, and FM1 is equal to 120 hertz we are having, and this is FM2, another frequency, which is equal to 60 hertz. This value is equal to 60 hertz. So given in the question, clearly mentioned the pass with an ideal low pass filter, before that sampled at 200 hertz. That means sample frequency Fs is given, that Fs is equal to 200 hertz. So now we can obviously know that the formula, that is NFS plus or minus FM1 or plus or minus FM minus NFS also, anything we can do. So here also I am writing that is NFS plus or minus FM2, because the input consists of two frequencies, one at 120 hertz, other at 60 hertz. Now we can write that at n is equal to 0. So considering at n is equal to 0, this become plus or minus FM1, that means plus or minus 120 is the frequency, and at n is equal to 1, we can have a set of frequencies that is equal to Fs plus or minus FM1. If you see Fs is 200 plus 120, that become almost 320 hertz, and another one is Fs minus FM1, that means 200 minus 120, that is equal to 80 hertz. So I can tell like this, if you take plus or minus 1, this also become here equal to that of plus or minus 80 hertz will present. So next in a similar manner we can consider that at n is equal to 2. So at n is equal to 2, then this will become equal to that of 2Fs plus or minus FM1. So 2Fs means 400 plus 120, that is equal to 520 hertz, and the next one is nothing but another set of frequency, that is 400 minus 120. So 400 minus 120 means that is equal to 280 hertz we are having, that is plus or minus 280 hertz. So similarly, when you took n is equal to 0 here, this become plus or minus FM2, and that is equal to plus or minus 60 hertz. When I took n is equal to plus or minus 1, then obviously Fs plus or minus FM2. That means 200 plus 60, that become 260 hertz, and 200 minus 60, that become 140 hertz we are having. So that become equal to 140 hertz. So plus or minus and plus or minus. So obviously when the value of n is equal to 2, this must be higher frequencies only. So maximum cutoff frequency present is passing through a low pass filter is 100 hertz only. That means the allowable frequencies are nothing but 80 hertz. So this frequency is allows 80 hertz, and 60 hertz is also allowed. Remaining all frequencies are filtered out by the filter. So this frequency is also filtered out by the filter. See, in the question he was asking what is the maximum frequency present at the filtered output. See, out of these two, the maximum frequency we are having is nothing but 80 hertz. So this is the maximum frequency. So your maximum frequency is equal to 80 hertz we have. So the next question will solve by Rohit Tripathi sir. Okay. So please continue.
Okay. तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या है एक बार देखते हैं. तो एक डिस्क्रीट टाइम सिग्नल है एक्स ऑफ एन. अच्छा, फिर एक्स ऑफ एन ऑलरेडी गिवन है और एक्स ऑफ एन का टाइम पीरियड कैलकुलेट करना है. तो एक्स ऑफ एन में 3 टर्म्स हैं. फर्स्ट टर्म है डीसी एंड नेक्स्ट 2 टर्म्स आर साइनोसाइड. पहले फर्स्ट टर्म के लिए देखते हैं. तो फर्स्ट टर्म में ओमेगा 1 की वैल्यू कितनी है? ओमेगा 1 की वैल्यू है 15 पाई अपॉन 8. नाउ व्हाट अबाउट फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ थर्ड साइनोसाइड? ओमेगा 2. सपोज फ्रीक्वेंसी इज ओमेगा 2. ओमेगा 2 इज हाउ मच? पाई बाई 3. अब इसके बाद क्या करेंगे? फर्स्ट टर्म का ये जो सेकेंड टर्म है इसके लिए टाइम पीरियड n1 कैलकुलेट करना है. सिमिलरली फॉर द नेक्स्ट साइनोसाइड वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट टाइम पीरियड n2 and the resultant time period it is given by which formula, LCM of n1 and n2. तो बेटा फिर कैलकुलेट क्या करें हम लोग, पहले n1 कैलकुलेट करो, फिर n2 कैलकुलेट करो, फिर LCM ले लो. अच्छा, अब n1 कैलकुलेट करना है तो n1 कैसे कैलकुलेट करोगे, 2 पाई अपॉन ओमेगा 1 इंटू k1. ठीक है, सो 2 पाई अपॉन ओमेगा 1, ओमेगा 1 कितना है 15 पाई अपॉन 8 इंटू k1. अच्छा, 2 पाई अपॉन 15 पाई बाई 8 ये कितना आया 16 अपॉन 15 इंटू k1. Now what is k1? k1 is least integer value for which n1 is also an integer. तो k1 एक ऐसा छोटा इंटीजर है जिसके लिए n1 क्या मिलेगा, एक इंटीजर मिलेगा. तो k1 का वो वैल्यू मैं क्या पुट करूं जिसके लिए n1 इंटीजर आएगा, k1 को पुट करूंगा 15. ओके, अच्छा, अब k1 को अगर मैं 15 पुट करूंगा तो n1 की वैल्यू कितनी आएगी 16. तो n1 की वैल्यू है 16. Now similarly what we have to do, we have to calculate n2. Formula is similar, 2 pi upon omega 2 into k2. ठीक है, so 2 pi upon omega 2. omega 2 हमने यहाँ लिखा है कितना है pi by 3, तो यहाँ पर पुट करो pi by 3 into k2. तो ये कितना आया 6 into k2. Again what is k2? k2 is a least integer value for which n2 is an integer. तो k2 एक लिस्ट इंटीजर वैल्यू है जिसके लिए n2 भी क्या होगा, इंटीजर होगा. तो k2 को क्या पुट करो 1, तो n2 की वैल्यू कितनी आई 6. तो n1 कैलकुलेट हो गया, n2 कैलकुलेट हो गया. अब इन दोनों वैल्यूज का क्या कैलकुलेट करना है, LCM. सो LCM ऑफ 16 एंड 6, तो आंसर कितना आएगा 48. तो इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर कितना है 48. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन मैं सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नवीन सर सॉल्व करेंगे. अच्छा, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन तो बड़ा ही इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल है, इसे देखते हैं कैसे सॉल्व करना है. ठीक है, अच्छा, अब इस क्वेश्चन को पहले आप अच्छे से पढ़ो, आखिर इसमें करना क्या है. व्हाट इज ZT? ZT इज कन्वोल्यूशन ऑफ XT एंड YT. ठीक है, YT इज गिवन, XT इज ऑल्सो गिवन, एंड व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट द टाइम इंस्टेंट T1 at which ZT is maximum. मतलब वो टाइम इंस्टेंट T1 कैलकुलेट करना है जिस पर ZT क्या होगा, मैक्सिमम होगा. बेटा अब ये तो ट्रिकी सवाल है. सबसे पहले ZT ये किन दो फंक्शंस का कन्वोल्यूशन है, YT और XT का. तो ZT इज कन्वोल्यूशन ऑफ YT एंड XT. ठीक है, अच्छा, अगर आप XT को देखें तो इसे स्टेप के कॉम्बिनेशन से आप रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं. बाय द वे यहाँ पर एम्पलीट्यूड मिसिंग था, तो एम्पलीट्यूड मैं मेंशन कर देता हूँ. एम्पलीट्यूड इज हाउ मच 1. x ऑफ t को आप लिख सकते हैं u ऑफ t प्लस 1 माइनस u ऑफ t माइनस 1. इस फॉर्म में हम लोग लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो yt को एज इट इज रहने दो, xt को रिप्लेस करो u ऑफ t प्लस 1 माइनस u ऑफ t माइनस 1 से. ठीक है, ध्यान से देखना, ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन है. सो YT कन्वोल्यूशन विद, अच्छा, ये जो ब्रैकेट में स्टेप का सब्ट्रैक्शन है इसे हम लोग ऐसे भी तो लिख सकते हैं ना, UT कन्वोल्यूशन विद डेल्टा t प्लस 1 माइनस डेल्टा t माइनस 1. अब ये क्या हुआ आप थोड़ा ध्यान से सोचो कि अगर आप इन दोनों फंक्शंस को कन्वॉल्व करते तो UT कन्वोल्यूशन विद डेल्टा t प्लस 1 क्या मिलता, u ऑफ t प्लस 1. फिर अगर आप UT को डेल्टा t माइनस 1 से कन्वॉल्व करो तो कन्वोल्यूशन क्या मिलता, u ऑफ t माइनस 1. तो ये जो स्टेप फंक्शन सब्ट्रैक्ट हो रहे हैं उसको हम लोग इससे रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं. अब इसके बाद हम लोग सीक्वेंस थोड़ा चेंज करते हैं और ऐसे लिखते हैं UT कन्वोल्यूशन विथ YT कन्वोल्यूशन विथ डेल्टा t प्लस 1 माइनस डेल्टा t माइनस 1. ठीक है, आप भी सोच रहे होंगे कि हो क्या रहा है, यही तो दिमाग लगाना है आपको, क्योंकि अगर आप इस तरह सोचेंगे तब ये क्वेश्चन इजी होगा. अब इन दोनों को क्या करो, कन्वॉल्व, फिर इन दोनों को क्या करो, कन्वॉल्व, ठीक है। तो थोड़ा आगे बढ़ते हैं, ut को एज इट इज रहने दो, इन दोनों का कन्वोल्यूशन क्या, y ऑफ t प्लस 1, माइनस है तो माइनस साइन, और बाई टी कन्वोल्यूशन में डेल्टा t माइनस 1 क्या, y ऑफ t माइनस 1, ठीक है। हम लोग यहाँ तक तो पहुंच गए, ठीक है। नाउ सपोज दिस फंक्शन इज f ऑफ t, so we have assumed that this function is what, f of t, okay। तो हमने आखिर लिखा क्या है, हमने लिखा है ut कन्वोल्यूशन विथ f ऑफ t, ऐसे लिखेंगे। सो दिस इज द फंक्शन zt, इट मीन्स वी कैन राइट इन दिस वे, we can write in this way. So what is zt? zt is integration of function x with respect to time. मैंने यहाँ पर स्टेप रेस्पॉन्स प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ कन्वोल्यूशन यूज किया है, ठीक है। अच्छा, अब इसके बाद अच्छा f टाउ क्या है, f टाउ इज नथिंग बट y ऑफ टाउ प्लस 1 माइनस y ऑफ टाउ माइनस 1, ठीक है। अच्छा, अब हमें क्या करना होगा, हमें यहाँ पर फटाफट कुछ वेव फॉर्म्स ड्रॉ करने हैं, हमें यहाँ फटाफट कुछ वेव फॉर्म्स ड्रॉ करने हैं। चलो अब हम लोग कुछ वेव फॉर्म्स ड्रॉ करते हैं, ठीक है। अब इधर कुछ वेव फॉर्म्स ड्रॉ कर रहे हैं। तो फर्स्ट वेव फॉर्म है y ऑफ टाउ प्लस 1 विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू टाउ, नेक्स्ट वेव फॉर्म है y ऑफ टाउ माइनस 1 विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू टाउ, फिर इन दोनों को सब्ट्रैक्ट करके f ऑफ टाउ विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू टाउ ड्रॉ करना है, ठीक है। तो नेक्स्ट वेव फॉर्म किसका होगा, f ऑफ टाउ विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू टाउ, कैसे मिलेगा, इन दोनों वेव फॉर्म को क्या करना होगा, सब्ट्रैक्ट, तो f टाउ मिलेगा। अच्छा, y ऑफ टाउ प्लस 1, y ऑफ टाउ प्लस 1 कैसे ड्रॉ करेंगे, yt विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू t विल बी सेम एज y टाउ विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू टाउ, तो आप इसको 1 से लेफ्ट शिफ्ट करो, तब तो y ऑफ टाउ प्लस 1 आएगा। 1 से लेफ्ट शिफ्ट करोगे तो एक्सटेंशन होगा 0 से कहाँ तक, 4 तक, तो 0 से 4 तक का स्ट्रक्चर ड्रॉ करना है। ड्रॉ करूं मैं 0 से 4 तक का स्ट्रक्चर, तो 0 से 4 तक, 0 2 4, p कंप्लीट्यूड्स आर -2 and 2। अच्छा, ये तो y ऑफ टाउ प्लस 1 है, y ऑफ टाउ माइनस 1 ड्रॉ करना है, तो इसे आप क्या करो, 1 से राइट शिफ्ट करो। 1 से राइट शिफ्ट करोगे तो कहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा, टाउ इक्वल टू 2 से, तो 1 से राइट शिफ्ट करो तो ये कहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा, टाउ इक्वल टू 2 से। एक काम करते हैं सो दैट कि कहीं कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं हो, तो क्लैरिटी के लिए कुछ पैरेलल लाइंस इधर ड्रॉ करते हैं, क्योंकि पैरेलल लाइंस ड्रॉ करेंगे तो सबट्रैक्शन करना इजी होगा, ओके। चलो, तो जो नेक्स्ट वेव फॉर्म है 1 से राइट शिफ्ट करते हैं तो 2 से स्टार्ट होता, और 2 से वेव फॉर्म कुछ ऐसा आता, ठीक है। ये 2 से स्टार्ट हुआ, एंड किधर होगा, 6 पर, p कंप्लीट्यूड्स आर -2 and 2, दिस टाइम इंस्टेंट इज 4। दोस्तों, अब हम लोग पहुंचने वाले हैं, अब इन दोनों स्ट्रक्चर्स को क्या करना है, सब्ट्रैक्ट करना है। बेटा, घटाना सबसे आसान काम है, जोड़ना घटाना हम लोगों ने जिंदगी भर सीखा है, अब वही काम करना है यहाँ पर। तो इधर सब्ट्रैक्शन कितना आएगा, 0, इन दोनों वेव फॉर्म को सब्ट्रैक्ट करो, दिस स्ट्रक्चर -0 विल बी दिस स्ट्रक्चर इटसेल्फ, तो सब्ट्रैक्शन में क्या मिलेगा, ये मिलेगा। अच्छा, ये जो पॉजिटिव ट्रायंगल है इसमें इस नेगेटिव ट्रायंगल को सब्ट्रैक्ट करोगे, तो नेगेटिव ट्रायंगल को सब्ट्रैक्ट करोगे तो नेगेटिव ट्रायंगल पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा, पॉजिटिव ट्रायंगल इस ट्रायंगल में ऐड हो जाएगा तो किस में कन्वर्ट होगा, रेक्टेंगल में। किस में कन्वर्ट होगा, रेक्टेंगल में, ठीक है। -2, इधर कितना 2, अब 0 में से इसको सब्ट्रैक्ट करोगे तो ये x एक्सिस के अबाउट फोल्ड होगा, x एक्सिस के अबाउट फोल्ड होगा, तो कुछ ऐसा। टाइम इंस्टेंट्स आर 0 2 4 6, यह एम्पलीट्यूड कितना, -2। आपको बता रहा हूँ इसलिए, डिटेल में बता रहा हूँ इसलिए मुझे इतना टाइम लग रहा है, अदरवाइज खुद को सॉल्व करने में इतना टाइम नहीं लगता, ठीक है। अच्छा, तो अब ये है क्या, ये तो एफ टाउ का ग्राफ है। अच्छा, zt कैसे मिलेगा, जब एफ टाउ को टाइम के अगेंस्ट क्या करोगे, इंटीग्रेट। तो बेटा, अब आप खुद सोचो कि अगर एफ टाउ 0 से 6 रेंज में है तो इसका इंटीग्रेशन जब आप परफॉर्म करोगे तो भी वो मिलेगा 0 to 6 रेंज में। इसका एक रीजन और भी है, क्योंकि जब आप ड्यूरेशन प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ कन्वोल्यूशन यूज करो तो yt स्टार्ट हो रहा है 1 से, yt स्टार्ट हो रहा है 1 से, एंड किधर हो रहा है 5 पर। अच्छा, xt स्टार्ट हो रहा है -1 से, एंड किधर हो रहा है 1 पर। तो दोनों के स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट्स को क्या करना होगा, ऐड, दोनों के एंड पॉइंट्स को क्या करना होगा, ऐड। तो zt का एक्सटेंशन स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट्स को ऐड करो, मतलब 1, और ये कहाँ से स्टार्ट हुआ, -1 से, ऐड करो कहाँ से yt स्टार्ट, zt कहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा, 0 से। अच्छा ये किधर एंड हुआ, 5 पर, ये किधर एंड हुआ, 1 पर, दोनों के एंड पॉइंट्स को ऐड करो तो zt किधर एंड होगा, 6 पर। तो हम लोग यहाँ तक तो पहुंच गए कि जो भी zt आएगा वो 0 से स्टार्ट होगा, 6 पर एंड होगा। ठीक है, अब इधर आते हैं, अब थोड़ा इंटेलिजेंटली कैलकुलेट करो। zt t इक्वल टू 0 पर कैलकुलेट करोगे तो -∞ से 0 रेंज में f टाउ तो है ही नहीं, f टाउ तो यहाँ है, ये तो t इक्वल टू 0 के बाद स्टार्ट हो रहा है। तो बताओ zt t इक्वल टू 0 पर कितना, 0। zt t इक्वल टू 0 पर कितना, 0। अच्छा मान लो zt t इक्वल टू 2 पर कैलकुलेट करते हैं। बेटा आपको बताने के लिए कैलकुलेशन ऐसा करना पड़ेगा मुझे, अदरवाइज आपको फिर सब समझ में नहीं आएगा। अच्छा अब आप सोचो zt हमें कैलकुलेट करना है t इक्वल टू 2 पर, तो इसका ग्राफिकल मीनिंग है वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट एरिया ऑफ f टाउ अप टू t इक्वल टू 2। तो f टाउ का एरिया कहाँ तक कैलकुलेट करो, टाउ इक्वल टू 2 तक। तो टाउ इक्वल टू 2 के पहले वाला एरिया, इस ट्रायंगल का एरिया, तो आप लिखेंगे हाफ इंटू इसका बेस विड्थ कितना, 2, इंटू हाइट कितना, -2, तो ये कितना आया, -2। ठीक है। अच्छा अब इसके बाद zt t इक्वल टू 4 पर कैलकुलेट करना है, तो t इक्वल टू 4 के पहले वाला f टाउ का एरिया, तो f टाउ का एरिया कैलकुलेट करो अप टू टाउ इक्वल टू 4। अब टाउ इक्वल टू 4 तक एरिया कैलकुलेट करना है, तो ये जो स्ट्रक्चर है, ये जो स्ट्रक्चर है, इन दोनों का एरिया क्या करना पड़ेगा, ऐड। इसका एरिया हमने ऑलरेडी कैलकुलेट किया, कितना है, -2, प्लस एरिया ऑफ दिस पॉजिटिव रेक्टेंगल, हाइट कितना है, 2, बेस विड्थ कितना है, 2। ठीक है, तो 4 - 2 कितना, 2। ओके। अच्छा एंड सपोज आप zt कैलकुलेट करते हैं t इक्वल टू 6 पर, तो t इक्वल टू 6 पर अगर कैलकुलेट करना होगा तो अब टू t इक्वल टू 6 f टाउ का एरिया कैलकुलेट करना है। तो f टाउ का एरिया कैलकुलेट करो अप टू टाउ इक्वल टू 6। तो 6 के पहले टोटल एरिया अगर मेरे बच्चों आप कैलकुलेट करेंगे ना, तो इन दोनों का एरिया ऐड करोगे और इसका एरिया ऐड करोगे तो टोटल एरिया कितना बनेगा, 0। देखो ये जो ट्रायंगल है इसका एरिया निगेटिव कितना, -2, ये रेक्टेंगल इसका एरिया पॉजिटिव कितना, 4, ये जो ट्रायंगल इसका एरिया कितना, -2। ठीक है, ऐड करो कितना आया, 0। अब ये सब कैलकुलेट करने के बाद अब देखो तो zt 0 है t इक्वल टू 0 पर, t इक्वल टू 2 पर -2 है, फिर t इक्वल टू 4 पर 2 है, मैक्सिमम है। इसके बाद ये डिक्रीज हो गया वापस से, तो zt t इक्वल टू 4 पर कैसा वैल्यू प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, मैक्सिमम। इसका मतलब वो टाइम इंस्टेंट जहां पर zt मैक्सिमम होगा वो टाइम इंस्टेंट कितना है, 4। ओके, मतलब यहाँ जो हमें फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स में पुट करना है, तो t1 की वैल्यू कितनी है, 4। तो इसको डिफरेंट कलर से लिखता हूँ, t1 की वैल्यू कितनी आई, 4। तो इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर कितना है, 4। अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नवीन सर एक्सप्लेन करेंगे।
थैंक यू सर। So coming to the next question, x of t Fourier transform is given as x of omega, which is given in the question, and x of omega is equal to 1 for mod omega is less than omega naught, and 0 when mod omega is greater than omega naught. So which one is true, he was asking. If you see this one here, you can find out one thing. Given x of omega is 1, the solution x of omega is 1 for mod omega is less than omega naught, and it is 0 for mod omega is greater than omega naught. So I am just drawing the sketch for this one, so showing that is omega and it is equal to x of omega. So if you see that from minus omega naught to omega naught, the amplitude value is equal to 1. That means your x of omega is equal to, shape looks like a rectangle function, amplitude is 1, so 1 into rect of, the axis is omega divided by total width is equal to 2 omega naught. So rect of omega by 2 omega naught is the given so called x of omega value we are having. Okay, so now what we are trying to doing is we are converting that x of omega into x of t, that is inverse Fourier transform. So applying the inverse Fourier transform. So obviously we know that the inverse Fourier transform for this one is the sinc function, that is sine omega naught of t divided by pi into t. So the inverse Fourier transform of rectangular function is equal to the sinc function sin omega naught of t divided by pi into t, and that value is obtained here. Now just see the first option. At t is equal to pi by 2 omega naught, x of t is equal to 1 by pi. He was asking which of the four options is the true option he was asking. So now we need to substitute the value of t is equal to pi by 2 omega naught at x of t is equal to 1 by pi. So if you write the x of t, then we can get like this: x of t, I am taking for option A, x of t is equal to that of sin omega naught of t divided by pi t. Then x of t at t is equal to pi by 2 omega naught. Okay, so x of t at t is equal to pi by 2 omega naught. So substitute the value. So sin of omega naught, see in place of t we are replacing with pi by 2 omega naught whole divided by pi into pi by 2 omega naught. This omega naught and omega naught will get cancelled out, and this value become as sin pi by 2 is equal to 1, that is pi square divided by 2 omega naught, which is equal to 2 omega naught divided by pi square. That means at x of t is not equal to 1 by pi, so option A is wrong answer. And similarly, if you see in option D, at t is equal to pi by 2 omega naught, x of t is equal to minus 1 by pi. So that means option D is also wrong answer. From this calculation, the two options are out of the race, and we left over with again two options, that is B. X of t tends to be an impulse as omega naught tends to infinite. Okay, so we need to check that. Coming to the option B. So if you see the option B here, it is given clearly such that x of t tends to be impulse as omega naught tends to infinite. Okay, so omega naught tends to infinite. If you see the omega naught value, that will tends to infinite. So omega naught tends to infinite means the sketch will turns into like this. It is omega. This value is equal to x of omega. When omega naught is infinite, it become as a straight line and whose amplitude value is equal to 1, looks like a DC signal. And if the DC signal we are having and we apply the IFT inverse Fourier transform, then definitely it is going to be satisfying this condition where your x of t tends to be an impulse as omega naught tends to be infinite. So we can write the IFT inverse Fourier transform, then x of t must be an impulse we are having. This is an impulse, so at t is equal to 0, whose area is 1 and magnitude value is infinite. So option B is satisfying. Similarly, we need to check for the option C also. X of 0 decreases as omega naught increases. So x of 0 means we are find outing area at area in the frequency domain. Now see here, that is option D, checking for the option D. So x of 0 is required. X of 0 means we can write like this: 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinite to plus infinite x of omega into d omega, which is area in the frequency domain or area under x of omega. Now if you observe clearly that x of 0 is equal to 1 upon 2 pi, your x of omega will lies from minus omega naught to plus omega naught, and whose magnitude amplitude value is equal to 1. That means value is equal to 1. That is equal to 1 by 2 pi into 2 omega naught, and that value is equal to omega naught divided by pi. We observe that your x of 0 is directly proportional to the omega naught. From this, if omega naught is increases, automatically x of 0 will increases. But in the given option, we observe clearly the given option is x of 0 decreases as omega naught increases. As they are directly proportional, your x of 0 is also increases as long as omega naught will be increases. So this option is also wrong option. So out of the four options, option B is the correct answer for the given question. So option B is the correct answer for the given question. Okay, so next question will solve by the Rohit Tripathi sir.
तो चलो अब देखते हैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन DTFT या फिर Z ट्रांसफॉर्म से रिलेटेड है. क्वेश्चन कुछ ऐसा है, x ऑफ n का Z ट्रांसफॉर्म x ऑफ z गिवन है. इट इज 4z अपॉन z माइनस 1/5 इंटू z माइनस 2/3 इंटू z माइनस 3. ठीक है, और यहाँ कुछ ऑप्शंस है एंड दिस क्वेश्चन इज MCQ. तो आउट ऑफ 4 एक ही ऑप्शन करेक्ट होगा, तो हमें वो करेक्ट ऑप्शन फाइंड आउट करना है. अच्छा, अगर मैं बिल्कुल दिमाग नहीं लगाऊं कि इधर क्या लिखा गया है, सीधा सीधा अगर मैं क्वेश्चन में ऑप्शन देखूं, DTFT ऑफ एक्शन कन्वर्जेस इफ ROC इज मोर दैट बिटवीन 2/3 to 3. अच्छा, इस ROC में यूनिट सर्किल इंक्लूड हो गया, और हमने अपने क्लासरूम में पढ़ा है कि अगर ROC में यूनिट सर्किल इंक्लूड हो गया तो Z ट्रांसफॉर्म DTFT में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है, और DTFT बस केवल कन्वर्जेंट सिग्नल्स के लिए ही लिखते हैं. तो अगर आप इसमें देखें तो इस ROC में क्या इंक्लूड हो रहा है, दिस ROC इज इंक्लूडिंग यूनिट सर्किल. so this ROC is including unit circle. so since this ROC is including unit circle, it means in this case DTFT will be convergent. यहीं से आंसर आ गया कि ऑप्शन बी. कौन सा ऑप्शन? ऑप्शन बी तो करेक्ट आंसर है. ठीक है, क्वेश्चन MCQ है तो आउट ऑफ 4 कोई एक ही ऑप्शन करेक्ट होता, तो इतने से अपना आंसर आ गया. अब बाकी के ऑप्शंस को आप अगर चेक करना है तो चेक कर सकते हैं. बाकी के ऑप्शंस तो अब ट्रू होंगे भी नहीं. फर्स्ट ऑप्शन कह रहा है DTFT ऑफ एक्शन कन्वर्जेंस इफ ROC इज सच दैट एक्शन इज राइट साइडेड सीक्वेंस. तो यहाँ पर इसने मेंशन नहीं किया है कि ये जो राइट साइडेड सीक्वेंस है इसका जो ROC होगा सर्किल के आउटसाइड होगा. सपोज अगर आप यहाँ से पॉसिबल ROCs लिखते, एक काम करो, पहले यहाँ से पोल्स आप लिखो. यहाँ से आप पोल्स क्या क्या लिखते? पोल्स आर 1/5, 2/3 एंड 3. फिर इसके बाद क्या लिखो? मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ पोल्स. ठीक है, अब जो भी मैं बता रहा हूँ आपके नॉलेज के लिए, क्योंकि अपना आंसर ऑलरेडी आ चुका है. अब यहाँ से अगर आप पॉसिबल ROCs लिखते, पॉसिबल ROC, तो पॉसिबल ROCs आप 3 लिख सकते हैं. फर्स्ट पॉसिबल ROC इज mod z less than 1/5. Second possible ROC between 1/5 and 2. So second possible ROC when mod z is between 1/5 and 2/3. ठीक है, 1/5 से 2/3. Third possible ROC when mod z is between 2/3 to 3. तो 2/3 से 3 तक. और फोर्थ पॉसिबल ROC आप क्या लिखते? mod z greater than 3. ठीक है, अब क्वेश्चन ने क्या कहा? DTFT ऑफ एक्शन कन्वर्जेंस इफ ROC is such that एक्शन इज राइट साइडेड सीक्वेंस. तो ये बोल रहा है कि अगर एक्शन राइट साइडेड सीक्वेंस है तो इसके ROC में यूनिट सर्किल इंक्लूड होगा, और अगर ROC में यूनिट सर्किल इंक्लूड होगा तो एक्शन कन्वर्जेंट होना चाहिए. बट अगर x ऑफ n राइट साइडेड है, सो फॉर राइट साइडेड सिग्नल ROC विल बी आउटसाइड सर्किल इन Z प्लेन. तो अगर आप आउटसाइड सर्किल ROC सिलेक्ट करें तो कौन सा सिलेक्ट करते? ROC 4. तो अगर आप ROC 4 सिलेक्ट करते हैं mod z greater than 3, तो इस ROC में यूनिट सर्किल इंक्लूड हुआ क्या? नहीं. तो दिस ROC इज नॉट इंक्लूडिंग यूनिट सर्किल. अच्छा, अभी इस ROC में यूनिट सर्किल इंक्लूड हुआ ही नहीं, तो DTFT कन्वर्जेंट होगा क्या? नहीं. इसलिए ऑप्शन ए आंसर नहीं है. सिमिलरली ऑप्शन सी को आप चेक करो तो यहाँ पर वही ROC है mod z greater than 3. इस ROC में यूनिट सर्किल इंक्लूड नहीं हुआ तो x ऑफ n कन्वर्जेंट नहीं होगा. सो ऑप्शन सी इज ऑल्सो नॉट द पॉसिबल आंसर. और ऑप्शन डी ने कहा DTFT ऑफ एक्शन कन्वर्जेंस इफ ROC सच दैट x ऑफ n इज लेफ्ट साइडेड सीक्वेंस. और अगर सिग्नल लेफ्ट साइडेड होगा तो लेफ्ट साइड सिग्नल का ROC कैसा होता है? इनसाइड सर्किल इन Z प्लेन. नाउ इफ ROC इज इनसाइड सर्किल इन Z प्लेन, देन द रिजल्टेंट ROC विल बी द फर्स्ट ROC. ओके, और अगर फर्स्ट ROC आप देखो तो इस ROC में भी क्या इंक्लूड नहीं हुआ? यूनिट सर्किल इंक्लूड नहीं हुआ. सो दिस ROC इज नॉट इंक्लूडिंग यूनिट सर्किल. ठीक है, तो अगर यूनिट सर्किल इंक्लूड नहीं हुआ तो वापस से कन्वर्जेंट नहीं है, तो ऑप्शन डी भी आंसर नहीं है. और वैसे हमने डायरेक्टली बता भी दिया था आंसर कौन सा ऑप्शन है, ऑप्शन बी. ठीक है, एक बार नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देख लेते हैं कि क्या है. तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कुछ इस फॉर्म में है. सो दिस क्वेश्चन विल बी एक्सप्लेन्ड बाय नवीन सर.
Thank you, sir. So, question number 7. Which one of the following is or true? So, if LTI system is causal, it is stable. So, you cannot tell directly such all LTI systems are causal, cannot be stable. There are some causal systems are there, LTI systems are causal, they must become unstable also. Okay. So, that's the reason we cannot tell directly such that system is going to be always be causal means it must be a stable. Okay. So, that means the first option is not true. And now coming to the second option, if impulse response 0 is less than mod h of n is less than 1 for all n, then LTI system is stable system. Okay. Do you clearly observe here the magnitude is given in between 0 to 1 is present, that is mod h of n for all n. An LTI system is a stable system. So, we cannot tell this one also. If impulse response of magnitude is in between 0 to 1 for all n, then LTI system is not a stable system also. Because if you have infinite number of samples are going to be present for all those things, then it is also not becoming about the stable, right? So, this option is also not be a correct option. Now, coming to the next one, if discrete LTI system has impulse response h of n of finite duration, then the system is stable. See, he was telling here mod h of n must be a finite, and if impulse response h of n of finite duration, if you take it for finite duration, h of n of finite duration he was talking about the finite duration only, but not about the amplitude case here. Then once again we cannot tell guarantee that it must be a stable. Okay, so this will also be a wrong statement. Now, if you consider here a discrete time LTI system is causal if and only if its response to a step response u of n is 0 for n is equal to 0. See, LTI system is causal. What is the condition for causality? We know that h of n is equal to 0 when n is less than 0. And he was talking about that this is the impulse response, but he was giving step input u of n. If step input u of n is applied, then the response what we are getting is a step response. So, if you talk about the step response, your s of n is equal to 0 for n is less than 0. So, this condition will obviously be satisfying such that for the step response we have, it is satisfying this condition is 0 for n is less than 0. So, that is why this option is the true. So, this was the given one, which has to be the condition for your required condition is causal. So, therefore, the step response u of n must also be the causal. Okay. So, thank you. This is about the GATE 2023 memory based questions of signals and system. Okay.
Yeah, welcome to the digital electronics session, students. Here the memory based questions we are going to handle. First of all, we will check the questions here. See, this is the question where numerical data based we are having this question. We will see this question, how it is going to be. Yeah, generally we used to discuss in the class also about one interesting thing, that is synchronous counters and asynchronous counters related. Definitely we can get we can expect a question like that. Generally we used to discuss in the class about this. In the same way, here also we got a question related to the synchronous counters. Here you can check the question is here the synchronous counter, because how we can identify this one is these two flip-flops basically connected from the same clock generator. So from the same clock generator, these two flip-flops are connected. So it is simply the synchronous counter. We can identify very easily by just observing the circuit. Now, such type of any type of synchronous counter, how to handle the question, we are having the 3 steps. We are already having the discussion in our class. Those steps are nothing but, first of all, we should write the inputs and outputs in the form of table. Here, let me have that discussion only here. Those steps we are going to mention here. Yeah. Here, we are going to have those 3 steps discussion here. The first step is nothing but the step 1 is we are writing here inputs and outputs in the form of table, and step 2 we are having write the corresponding input connections, and step 3 keep the given state. If they haven't given the state initially, you can take by default any of the state as per your desire. Like that also you can take it. So keep the given state or default state and proceed. Steps seems to be 3 steps. No sir, we have to do like that the thing. But you know that applying those steps is very less time we are able to get the applying these steps will be very less time we are going to have. Let me have the checking of that only here. Here, those steps if you observe, inputs where we are having, for example here, gives some name like this is DL, this is QL, QL bar, this is DR, QR, this is QR bar. So inputs are nothing but what we can say here is DL, DR, and this is QL, QR. So these are nothing but the inputs and outputs we made in the form of table. That's enough. The first step is already completed. Sir, this much easy, no sir, just writing the steps like that. Yeah, that is only we are saying. Now check this one, from where we are having the connections, we will check that. Here we are having the connections from this one. For DL, we are having the connection from QR, and for DR we are having the connection from the XOR gate. For the XOR gate, what are the inputs? This is QR and this is QL bar, and again bar means that is QL. So you can understand now this one, this is QL bar, but by the NOT gate it is going to be QL bar, that is nothing but QL, and from this it is QR. These two are actually applied to the XOR gate like this. So this is going to have the connection. So where we are going to have QL XOR QR. So the second step is also completed. So we wrote the inputs and outputs in the form of table, and we wrote the corresponding input connections above their heads. Now keep some default state and we will proceed that. So in the default state means we are having the possible states of 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So any of the state you can consider here. For example, let me consider the 0, 0. You may ask, sir, why you are going to consider 0, 0 only? As per your desire, any of the state you can consider. You take the 0, 0, then you make it, this is going to be 0. And sir, how it is 0, sir? QR is 0 means this is 0 only, no? Sir, DR, for that QL XOR QR. So QL XOR QR. As you know, XOR gate inputs when different, then only output is 1. But when inputs these two are same, here we are going to have the 0. So for this 0, 0, the next state is also 0 after the clock pulse. That means here no change we got it. The question is also like that is only they asked. Here the initial logic which will not change with the clock is, that is nothing but 0 0. But the question they asked somewhat an interesting way, like it is A, B, C, D. These things in that manner we should say A, B, C, D are nothing but this A is QL bar and B is nothing but the QL and C is here nothing but the QR and D is nothing but we can say QL XR QR. Yeah, this is QL XR QR. So I'll write here, okay, QL XR QR. So if you apply those things here, it will be what? 0 0 0, it will be 1. So it is nothing but the 8. So the answer will be 8. So simple it is. Actually the people generally used to think that by seeing this matter, so much matter is there, no, and they give somewhat ABCD, what is that? Like that they may have so much of thinking. No need of any thinking like that. Always we used to say, whenever the synchronous counter is given, because it is, the synchronous counter here. So when we are having a synchronous counter, both flip-flops are connected from the same clock generator. Just make the table in that manner and get the answer, and whatever be the format they are asking, just implement that and get the answer. That is the way. So simple. Got it? Right. Now, and another memory based question is this one. Of course, it is a so direct question actually we can say. Why? Because this is ADC. In that the data given is like they gave here the V in is 1.992 and it is 8-bit ADC. Here we should identify the step. That means here from this to this the step size, based on that what we can say is, here this is nothing but the step size and the formula is very simple, that is step size, which is also we can say as resolution is nothing but what we can say here V in by number of steps. So from that only we can apply the number of steps are nothing but, from that number of steps are nothing but we are having, that is V in by step size, and that V in is already they gave that 1.992 and step size we are getting from 19.6, so that we are able to get so easily the answer based on this. Got it? These are the two questions that we got the memory based things, and we can handle these directly by this formula for this one, and for that one we are having the previous one based on the synchronous model like that. Okay, right. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Now let's take questions from control system part. This question, state model of a system is given. Question is to find the frequency at which the steady state output of the system becomes 0. Steady state output of the system becomes 0. See, first of all, finding the transfer function of this system, we can directly write the transfer function. Though there is a formula of C Si minus A inverse into B plus D, that's waste of time. this is in controllable form, we can write the transfer function directly like this. S square, taking the coefficients in this direction and writing them in the reverse direction with opposite sign. That will be denominator. Then this B value, that becomes the gain of the system. Then C matrix coefficients, take them in this direction, write in the reverse direction. Minus 2s plus 3 D, this is plus 2. Right. This is transfer function. This is A matrix, this is B matrix, this is C matrix, this is D matrix. Directly this becomes a transfer function, which upon solving becomes S square plus 4 upon S square plus 2s plus 1. Writing this pole 0 pattern, this system has got two poles at minus 1 and is 0 at J2 and is 0 at minus J2. Right. So the thing is, what is the frequency at which the steady state response of the system becomes 0? See, response of a system becomes 0 at its 0 and response becomes infinity at its poles. Frequency response of a system becomes 0 at that 0 which lies on the j omega axis, because in frequency domain S is j omega and omega is varied from 0 to infinity. So when we are varying omega from 0 to infinity, what happens when omega becomes 2? This is j omega axis. When omega becomes 2, that becomes 0 of the system, hence the output of the system becomes 0. No need of doing any calculation, simply waste of time. Direct answer 2. Moving to the next question.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So this is the question from Bode plot. Okay, so examiner has given us the magnitude and phase plot. This is a very simple question, because with this question we can eliminate the option. Given information is very much enough. So with respect to the we can say option, if you are going to observe here, the frequency term will present, so obviously the magnitude will not remain constant. Like now with respect to this information and this information, what can we say? If we are going to calculate the magnitude in dB, obviously this will result the 8 dB, this will result the 8 dB. For example, we can say 20 log 10, and what is the magnitude of this particular function? We can say 2.51 will definitely result us the 8 dB value. So obviously the option C is going to be wrong. Now come to the next part with respect to the frequency. At omega equal to 1, what the frequency, the phase we are getting? Minus 60 degree the phase we are getting. So the phase from this option, we can easily get if we choose this particular option. So at omega equal to 1, I want to check the phase. So at omega equal to 1, what will be the phase? From the option B, we can say it's minus 1.047, but this is the radian value and we want the value in degree. So just we multiply by 180 degree divided by pi. So at omega equal to 1, we are getting what? Minus approximately 60 degree, minus 60 degree. So obviously this option is wrong. Like that we can say the option B is the correct answer of this particular question. Very simple question, just by observing we can identify. So let's take the next question, sir, please.
Yeah, that's one thing, and very simple. Of course, that's very well explained by sir. The simple other way of thinking is T0 seconds of transportation delay results into minus omega T0 into 180 degree by pi, amount of the phase. Frequency of operation is 1. So at one frequency of operation, this phase, T0 seconds of transportation delay should be, even if it is 1 second of transportation delay, then this becomes minus 57 degree. It's a standard figure, minus 57.
Right.
So since the phase is 60, the phase transportation delay should be close to 1 second. So straight away it should be the answer.
Yes.
Okay. Coming to
Question number 3.
this question. So in this, the question is to find the value of alpha and beta. What information is given? The frequency where the phase produced by this compensator is maximum at 4 radian per second, and the magnitude provided by the compensator at that particular frequency is how many decibel? 6 decibel.
6 dB.
6 dB. Question is to find alpha and beta. Writing this transfer function to be s plus alpha upon s plus alpha beta with some gain constant outside. This is 0 of the system, this is pole of the system. The frequency where the phase of any compensator is maximum is the geometric mean of the two corner frequencies, which is given to be 4. So alpha root beta becomes 4 radian per second. And the ratio of Z and P, I call it to be X, which is Z by P, that becomes 1 by beta. Then the magnitude produced by the compensator at the frequency where phase is maximum is given by 10 log 1 by x to the base 10 decibel, which becomes 10 log beta to the base 10, and that becomes 6 dB. From this we can get the value of beta to be 4. Using that we get the value of alpha to be 4 by 2. Answer to the question is option C.
Next question.
In this question, we are given the open loop transfer function of a system, and we are asked to find then what will be the mapping of the Nyquist contour in S plane in the GH plane in case of Nyquist plot. Remember, when we map the Nyquist contour into Nyquist plot, see basically what is Nyquist contour? It is a region of S plane where a system fails to be stable and such that it should not pass through any pole of the function. This function has a 0 in the left side and a pole in the right side. So the basic Nyquist contour to obtain the Nyquist plot of the system is this. I call it to be contour part 1, contour part 2, contour part 3. Contour part 1 is positive imaginary axis, contour part 2 is right side of S plane, contour part 3 is negative imaginary axis. When we map this Nyquist contour into Nyquist plot, C1 becomes polar plot, C3 becomes mirror image of the polar plot with respect to real axis with opposite direction. This C2, which is a semicircle of infinite radius, will be mapped into a point in GH plane, right? So infinite radius semicircle will become a point in GH plane. If at all, if the system has any pole at origin, that will be a semicircle of 0 radius that gets mapped into semicircle of infinite radius, as we very frequently study. Now the question is, this semicircle of infinite radius of S plane in the Nyquist contour will be mapped into a point in the GH plane in the Nyquist plot. Which particular point it is? That can easily be measured, or that can be found by substituting the value of S, which is limit r tends to infinity r e to the power j theta in the given open loop transfer function, that is 3 r e to the power j theta plus 5 upon r e to the power j theta minus 1 with the limit r tends to infinity. Since r is infinite, these values are negligible, and when it comes to magnitude e power j theta is 1, then this becomes a point of magnitude 3. Answer to the question is D.
Next question.
It's a block diagram given. Question is to find the transfer function of it. Either we can use Mason formula, otherwise it's a very simple diagram. We can do like this. This should be 1 actually.
Yes.
As per the question, it is unity feedback but positive. Moving this adder before this block and merging this adder with this block. To move an adder before a block, whichever block is coming to that adder, that needs to be divided with that block. So when I shift this adder over here, then this 3 becomes 3s. Because now this 3 is reaching to this adder without touching 1 by s. But when it comes to this, then it has to pass through 1 by s. So to eliminate, we make it 3s. Now when this adder reaches to this adder and merges with this, these two are in parallel, we can make this as 2 plus 3s. Then simply for 1 by s we have got unity feedback, that is 1 by s minus 1. This thing will come in series with this, that is 3s plus 2. So answer to the question is 3s plus 2 upon s minus 1 is the answer.
Next question. Okay. Yeah. So this question is very simple, as in this question examiner want to know impulse response, and obviously we know impulse response means the input is impulse input and then the response we want. So simply take the Laplace of this. So what you are going to get? You will get s into y of s plus 3 y of s is equal to 2 x of s. Okay, impulse response means the input is impulse, so its Laplace is going to be the 1 unit impulse we are going to assume. So like this, y of s will become what? 2 divided by s plus 3. We want impulse response. So now if you take the Laplace inverse, you are going to get 2 into e to the power minus 3t into obviously u of t like this. If we are going to observe the given option, yes, option B is the correct, the answer of the particular question. Sorry, it's option D is going to be correct, because we are going to consider obviously u of t like this. This is the answer of the particular question. We wish you all the best. Thank you.
So I wish you all the best for all your future perspectives. Next subject will be taken by my colleague.
Thank you.
Hi students. So I hope you have done the very, you have written the examination very well. And so now I am Srikar Gupta. So I am going to explain you the solutions of the engineering mathematics for electrical bench. Okay. See, the questions were a little bit different, and some questions were straight away you can do it. And here this question you can see that which one of the following options represents the given graph. You can see very clearly this particular graph, you can see about the origin it is symmetric. About the origin it is symmetric here. So therefore about the origin it is symmetric means it is an odd function. So odd function means, so this is the only odd function you can see among the options. So therefore the option is A. So the answer for this question is A here. So the next question is here that it is under the linear transformations. You can see basically the linear transformations is, as we have discussed in the class, you can see Ax is equal to y. So that means that the matrix A, that's a transformation matrix which transforms the vector x into the another vector y here. So this is the linear transformation matrix here. So he is asking the same thing here. You can see in the figure the vectors u and v are related as AUA is equal to v. So it's the same thing. It is using the same thing. So it is the same thing here, AU is equal to v by the transformation A. So that what is the correct choice of A here? See, as here this u bar is given. So u bar is nothing but the vector here 4 3, right? And this vector is given as here 5 0 here, right? And let's go to the AU is equal to v here, and this matrix A, right, into u. So u is what here? That is 4 3, and that must be is equal to here 5 0. So now you have to check that which of the option is satisfying this particular thing. So let me go with the options here, that A is there 4 by 5, 3 by 5, minus 3 by 5. So let us take the multiplication with this A. So if you take option A here, so 4 by 5, 3 by 5, minus 3 by 5, right? And then here it is 4 by 5, 4 by 5. So you can see exactly perfectly it is satisfying the AU is equal to V. So therefore the answer is A here, right? So this is the way you can do the simple question. You can simply answer this type of questions in the examination. So as we discussed here, and that is a question comes in the from the regression part, but the question is asked in a little bit differently using the term called as best fit. So electrical students in GATE examination, correlation, regression they study. So in that concept the best fit will come. So actually regression of the straight line is given by least square approximation. So the least square approximation from the least square approximation of the straight line. So let us suppose that this here the straight line is y is equal to ax plus b. Y is equal to ax plus b. So now, so by using the least square approximation, you have to fit the straight line for the given data. So then he is asking that here the value of the slope of this best fit, that means this a value. So he is asking this a value. So you have to find out this a value. So to get this a value, so you have to fit this straight line by using the concept of least square approximation. Chaliye. So let us take that here. So let the straight line y is equal to x plus b. By least square approximation, if you want to fit the straight line for the given data, so we have to write the normal equations for it. So the normal equations for fitting this straight line is here, summation yi is equal to a summation xi plus b summation 1. So summation 1 can be understood as the number of observations, that is also you can take it as n, and the second equation, okay, let me take this equation 1. Second equation is obtained by multiplying by x on both sides, so then you can get another equation. So these are the tricks I took to remember the formula here. So those who have attended the classroom, so I think they can easily remember this formula without any bihardation. Chaliye. So now this is the second equation here. So if you solve these equations, so you are going to get these unknown values a and b here. So for that we need to substitute all these summation values, so from the given data. Suppose if you take the table here, now let us construct this summation table here, xy minus 1 0 1, and y values are given here, it is 0.8 and 2.2 and 2.8, right? And these are the x and y value data is given to us. Now let us find out the summation xi and summation yi. Summation xi is 0, summation yi is what? 0.83, so it is 3 and it is 5.8 here. Then again I need x square here and I need xy. So let's take some more columns for finding these summations here. Summation x square, it is minus 1 whole square, 0 and 1, and then x into y, it is minus 0.8 and it is 0 and it is of 2.8 here. So then you are going to get here, it is 2, because if you add these things you get 2 here, and this one also you will get 2 here. So these are the summations you have here. So these are the sum of summation values and you have to substitute in these equations. So summation yi is 5.8, a summation xi is 0, then here it is 3b, then again second equation summation xy is here 2, and a summation x square, what is summation x square is 2 here, right, is 2. Then here summation xi is absolutely 0. So now you can see from the second equation itself, you can see this. So anyway this is 0, so it is 2 gets cancelled and I am getting here a is equal to 1. So the value of the slope, that means what is the slope of the straight line here? A. So that a value you are getting as 1 in this question here. Okay. So this is to be understood that differently they are asked, but instead of saying regression line, they said it is best fit. So that means you need to fit the straight line by using the concept of least square approximation, which is same as a regression concept. So from that only you will get the answer for it. Okay, right. So let us go for the next question here. So this thing is here omega is given one vector, but he is asking what here? The vector normal to the plane defined by, see the plane defined by. So what is the plane equation is given as here? Differently it is given, so that you have to find out what is that. Here omega transpose is nothing but here 1 2 3 into this x, so x y z, this is the vectors. So this is called like generally inner product of omega and x. So that inner product only I am writing and equating 1. So if you do this inner product, you will be getting this x plus, so this is our 5, right, x plus 2y plus 3z is equal to 1. Yes dear students, so this is the plane for which he is asking the normal vector. So what is the normal vector is given by? So the normal vector is given by del phi bar. So this del phi bar is given by I simply say like this, I dou phi by dou x plus j dou phi by dou y plus k dou phi by dou z here. So for this one, I dou phi by dou x is 1, dou phi by dou y is 2 and 3. So this is 1 plus j into 2 plus 3k here. So this is the vector, but in terms of the matrix vectors, if you write it, So this is the answer. So 1, 2, 3. So this vector we are able to write in matrices as 1, 2, 3. So that's the answer for this question. Okay, so it's an easy question here. Now there is another question. So again, see, this is a function of two variable. This is a function of two variable, and he is asking the magnitude of the maximum rate of the change. So maximum rate of change means, so he is asking the maximum derivative, right? Yes. So maximum derivative of, so I think in vectors we have studied the concept as maximum directional derivative, right? So maximum directional derivative of any surface, but here it is a two variable function. So dd max is given by modulus of del phi bar, but what is phi here? I am supposing this function and whatever it is given, so this I am supposing it as phi. So you have to find out the del phi here. So del phi is given by I dou phi by dou x plus j dou phi by dou y plus k dou phi by dou z. So this is here, but here you don't have these z concepts because z component is not there because it is a function of two variable only. So therefore I even say like this, it is not x and y, even I can say this because it is the function in x1 and x2, so it is like this, dou phi by dou x1, dou phi by dou x2. So dou phi by dou x1, if you take it here, so dou phi by dou x1 is nothing but 2x1 plus 3 and plus x2 here, and then plus j into dou phi by dou x2, it is 4x2 here, 4x2 and then plus 3, right, and then plus x1 here, x1. So this is the thing, but at which point he is asking? At 1 comma 1. So if you put 1 comma 1 into this vector here, because you are finding this normal vector at the point 1 comma 1, so that is given as here 3 plus 2 plus 1, so it is 6i and then plus 8j, 6i cap plus 8j cap you are getting. So this is the del phi, and if you take its modulus, so this is given by under root of 6 square plus 8 square, so that is gives you here under root of 100, that is 10. So this is the answer for this question. So this is also a simple question. Okay, the next one here, the next one in this, yes, those who attended the classroom here, only those questions, those students can be done without using your pen on the paper, this question especially. So but those who are not attended the classroom, so definitely they have to put the entire experiment and they have to write everything over there, because see this particular experiment, you can see the experiment is that, so the here repeating the experiment till we get the first head. So that means there is an experiment, I can say like this, by geometrical distribution, any experiment is repeated till we get the first success, it is considered as a geometrical distribution. So according to the geometrical distribution, here the mean formula is 1 by p here, and the variance formula is q by p square here, q by p square. So this is we discussed in the classroom here. So those who know the formula here, so directly they can get the answer for this. So for this, the E of x is given as 4, E of x is given as 4, which is equal to 1 by p, because the expected number of the tosses for the first occurrence of the success or first success in a biased coin is known to be 4. So expectation of this particular experiment, expected number of trials is nothing but here, okay, I will say like this, here the number of trials is our random variable, So expectation of the number of trials is given by 1 by p, which is equal to 4 of this particular type of experiment. So from this we are getting here p is equal to 1 by 4. So p is equal to 1 by 4 here. If p is equal to 1 by 4, so q is equal to 1 minus p, which is 3 by 4. So this is the probability of getting head, because head is my success here as per this question. So probability of head is 1 by 4, and the probability of tail is 3 by 4. As the probability of head and probabilities are tail are not equal here, so therefore it is called as, it is a biased coin. So that is the meaning of biased coin, why he mentioned it. Okay, but anyway, so we got the probability of head and probability of tails. Now he is asking what? The probability of the first occurrence of head in the second trial. That means he is asking that what is the probability of getting the first success in the second task or second trial. So that is given by here. Let's see that the probability of the event is given by, see, he is saying that in second task he should get the first head. That means the first one is tail. So probability of first toss must be tail, so that the next time it is tossed to get the first head. So this is the only possibility you get for this event. So therefore, as the number of tosses are throwing are here independent events, so therefore we are taking the probability as probability of tail into probability of head. So this is of 3 by 4 into 1 by 4, and it is of 3 by 16 here. So this is the answer for this. So you can calculate, this is 0. It is of 1, and then 12 it is 7 you get, okay, or 8 4 1 1 2, yes, 8 8 7 something you get it. So 0.187 up to 3 decimals you get the answer for this question, right? So this is all about the engineering mathematics questions. There is some more question, one more question is there, but so the data is not properly given here, but I can say this particular thing is here. Like suppose here there is one question is being given, integral of x dy minus y dx. Complete data is not there, so therefore I am saying that. So integral of c x dy minus, so those who have attended my class, so it is very clear shortcut for this integral. So from the classroom notes, that question has been directly given, and this question is asking since 5 years. So I told very clearly in the class that this is a perfect example for the good question. But anyway, so this is about the complete solutions of mathematics, okay, and the remaining questions which are not just, these are all memory based questions. So thank you, and
Dear students, reasoning aptitude, memory based questions. This year almost we have done what you have done in the classroom. Very first problem, unit place. See, in workbook you have done 10th question and 11th question, very first chapter. See, unit place you have done so many questions. And these questions we can go for direct answers. See what you have done in the classroom. See, 3 power 99. 3 power 999 and 7 power 1000. Wherever 3 given, wherever 7 given, I told you in the classroom, you are dividing by 4. When you are dividing by 4, you are consider remainder. What is the remainder coming dividing by 4? It is coming will be 3. Still it is not clear. 999 dividing by 4, we are getting up 4 into 24, 96. This will be 39. 4 into 9, 36. We have to consider remainder 3. And 7 also dividing by 4,000. Remainder will be 0. Those present in the classroom, we have done everything, and similar problem also in the workbook. What is the 3 cube? 27. Meaning of 27, 7 is the unit place. 7 power 0, unit place 1. So finally, what is the unit place? 7. And one more thing, we have done this type of questions in the classroom as well as workbook, and without writing also directly can able to write it. So finally, what is the answer? 7 is the answer. Given multiple choice, B is the answer. Second question, same similar question given 2 years back in engineering service. There are also number of triangles. Here also number of triangles. Counting number of triangles. See that? This is a general question. See, when you consider actual diagram, when you take this one, see that? This will be 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. In 4 triangles, we are make it as 4 into 2, 8 times. So how many triangles coming? That is 8 triangles coming. When you take this small part, so it is coming like this. See that in this one I am telling 1, 2, 3, total will be 3 triangles. First one you can take 4 into 2, 8 triangles. When you take second one, this one 1, 2, 3. See, just to see that all of you. So when you take this part, see the all of you, this will be, first you will take the 4 triangles, 1, 2, 3, 4. In your counting twice 4, 2 is 8 triangles. When you take this one small one, 1, 2, total 3 triangles. Total 3 triangles. When you go for again here also, 1, 2, 3, total 3 triangles. Again this will be 3 triangles, this will be 3 triangles. Total will be 20 triangles. So I am repeating once again. When you take whole triangle, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this, you are getting 4, 2, 8 triangles. When you take small part, this small part, see that? When you take this small part, 1, 2, total will be 1 triangle, 3 triangles. When you take this small part, see that? This will be small part, this will be 1 triangle. Second triangle, this will be like this, 3 triangles. When you take third one also 3 triangles, fourth are 3 triangles, and making directly 20 triangles. This will be common sense question. Just without writing also, by counting also, we can say 20 triangles. Third question. It is a probability problem. We have done basic problems. When you are throwing a die, there are 6 possibilities. You may get any one. They are asking probability of 1. Throwing a die, probability of 1, 1 by 6. Throwing a die, probability of 4, 1 by 6. So first one is 1 by 6. Second one is 1 by 6. See, probability of 1. This will be 1 by 6. Probability of 4, 1 by 6. There are 2 possibilities. Both are independent. Probability of 1 will be 1 by 6. Probability of 4 also 1 by 6. That will be 1 dividing by 36. So it is also, you may go for the directly by seeing multiple choice without writing any step. These are the memory based questions. We got only 3 questions. Remain questions, some data is not clear. And finally what you see, this year reasoning aptitude, almost most of the questions out of 5-6 questions we have done in the classroom. And we also seen the workbook also. I hope it's all of it clear. First problem you have taken unit place. That is 7 is the answer. Second one I told you number of triangles 20. Third one is probability of 1 and 4 both together 1 by 36. So thank you for all.
Okay, students, greetings of the day. This is Murli, Machines faculty. I will be dealing induction and transformer questions. A 3-phase 415 volt 56 pole 960 rpm 4 HP squirrel cage induction motor drives a constant torque load at rated speed operating from a rated supply and delivering rated output if the supply voltage and frequency are reduced by 20%. What will be the speed of the motor? This is the question. As you know, this is V by F speed control. Here V and F both are reduced by 20%. In V by F speed control, when torque is constant, in the class I told you a line, slip speed remains constant. From this line you can simply solve the question. By seeing the data, no need to keep pen also, you can directly say the answer. First 50 Hz, 6 pole, 960 rpm. The synchronous speed is 1000 rpm. So the slip speed or the relative speed is 40 rpm. When the frequency is reduced by 20%, 50 Hz becomes 40 Hz. Then synchronous speed will be 800 rpm. Previously, synchronous speed is 1000, operating speed is 960. Now as frequency reduced by 20%, this is a V by F speed control under constant torque condition as slip speed is remaining constant. If the synchronous speed is 800, the operating speed will be 760 rpm. Directly you can see the answer. This is one way of solving. Another way is formula. As you know, the basic one, T proportional to S V square by F. From this you can write T2 by T1 is equal to S2 by S1 into V2 by V1 square F1 by F2. As the question contains constant torque, S1 is 0.04. because the speed is 960, synchronous speed is 1000. V2 by V1 becomes 0.8. 0.8 square. F1 by F2 becomes 1 by 0.8. Like that, if you substitute, you can find out S2 value. S2 value will be 0.05. Next, N2 is NS2 into 1 minus S2. NS2 120 into F2 by P. F2 is a new value, 50 into 0.8. You will get NS2 as 800. 800 into 1 minus 0.05, that is N2. Again you are going to get the same number, 760 RPM. Next question. This is a single phase induction motor, which is a basic thing. At 10 pole, 50 Hertz. Single phase induction motor runs at 540 RPM. The frequency at induced rotor current, backward field. In single phase induction motor, you know there is a forward field and there is a backward field. The slip for forward field, SF, if you say yes, then slip for backward field, SB, is equal to 2 minus SF, or simply 2 minus S. This is the basic you all know. So, first calculate slip. 50 Hertz, 10 pole. 600 minus 540 by 600. Synchronous speed is 600. Operating speed is 540 given in the question. So, we will get a slip value. 0.1. If S is 0.1, SB, backward slip, backward field slip will be 2 minus 0.1. So, the frequency due to the backward field is simply SB into F, that is 1.9 into 50. The value will be 95 Hertz. Another question from induction, which is a basic question. The following one represents various modes of induction machine operation and the range of slip. The entire torque slip characteristic of induction motor, -1, 0, 1, 2. Here where the motor starts, N is equal to 0, S is equal to 1. Motor starts and runs somewhere near 0. This is motoring mode. Slip 0 to 1. A motor by itself can't cross NS, you know that. If you connect a prime mover and if you increase the speed of the motor more than its synchronous speed, then it's a generating mode with a slip negative. So this is generator. And finally, this is plugging mode. The rotor tends to operate in the opposite direction. Plus sign will come. So greater than 1. So this is plugging 1 to 2, motoring mode 0 to 1, and generating mode negative 0 to -1. So simply you can match it. Generator, generator, -1 to 0. Motor 0 to 1. And plugging greater than 1. Next, transformers. This is transformers question, but you have to use basic network theory here. First I'll read the question and I'll mark the data what is required to solve this question. because here it is given finally the self inductance of the winding. This is the target finally. You know, in the network theory, the formula for self inductance L. These two formulas you have to use here. L n square by R, this is reluctance, this is the number of turns. Actually you have to find out L for these turns. You have to know what is n here, and to find out that you have to know E also, because we have a formula E is equal to 4.44 F n Bm A. These three formula you have to apply to solve this question. In network theory you will see L is equal to n square by reluctance. Reluctance formula, length by mu naught mu r A. This is the permeability, relative permeability, and this is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7, and A is given. All the data is given in the question. If you observe, area is given 500 mm square. Next, length is mentioned, and flux density maximum value is mentioned, 1 Tesla, and relative permeability mu r is also mentioned like that. So if you first substitute R, length by mu naught mu r A, direct data substitution only. If you substitute, you will get a number 15915.5. Next, from E is equal to 4.44 F n Bm A, you can write n is equal to E by 4.44 F Bm A. E you can take directly 200 volts because open circuit. Here already specified voltage, so you can take E is equal to V. So the voltage in this particular winding is 200 volt. Substitute 200 here, substitute 50 here, Bm is also given 1, and area is also mentioned there. It is mentioned in mm, you have to convert into 10 power minus 6, and you will get a number 180.16. So finally L is 180.16 square by 15915.5. This is equal to 2039.8 millihenry. So the remaining questions, my colleague Rajan sir will continue.
Hello everybody. So now I am going to solve synchronous and DC problem. Okay, so this question is a very simple question. Already we have discussed in class also that they are asking EF value while static stability limit is given. Yes or no? Static stability limit. What is static stability limit? That is nothing but see here, already we have seen, suppose this is the motor. First of all, the machine is a motoring, correct? This is a motor and axis and RA is given. The current direction will be like this. Yes or no? This is motor. So basically the maximum developed power, actually here load will be there, right? Yes sir. So this load, the mechanical torque will be balanced by the electrical developed power or electrical developed torque. Yes or no? So finally, what will be the maximum value of this power they are asking, and that will be the static limit. Yes or no? Yes. So point is, we need to calculate this, and that power, the maximum power will be equal to, that formula is EFV by Zs minus EF square by Zs cos of theta. So here Zs is given 0.1 plus j 0.3. So what will be Zs? Zs is equal to 0.1 square, 0.3 square. How much it is? 0.3162, right? And what is theta? So theta also we can calculate. Theta is equal to tan inverse 0.3 divided by 0.1, and this value would be 71.56 degree. So simply what we have to do, we have to put all those values. This value is also given, the power that is given as 2.5, and the value of Zs, that is 0.3162, the value of theta, that is 71.56 degree. So one quadratic equation, what will be the value of V? V will be 1 per unit. The rated voltage, the rated terminal voltage will be 1 per unit, right? Because in this question, the per unit value is given, right? So now only one unknown will be there. So while solving this quadratic, we will get our answer, and our answer will be that EF value will be 1 point, how much it is? 1.581 approximately. This value will get whatever question just whatever data I have. From that data we will get this question, right? Now come to the DC machine problem. In this DC machine problem, a separately excited machine is there. In DC machine, only one thing what generally correct been told to you, that is either T is equal to K phi Ia or EB is equal to K phi into omega. These two are sufficient for almost 90% of the problem. Yes or no? Yes. So now my dear student, see here, in this question is related to speed. So we'll go to this first of all, right? So when 15 ampere, that is the rated value, is flowing in the motor, means that motor is taking 15 ampere, right? Then their rated speed is 1500 rpm. Okay. So one equation we can just prepare, one equation we can develop from here only, and phi will remain constant as it is separately excited DC motor, and this is also given in the question, the field current unaltered, that is especially mentioned over there, right? So now the point is, phi is constant, so EB proportional to omega. So what will be EB? That EB is equal to, that equation we can write simply 400 minus 15 into 1.2, and this is proportional to 1500 rpm. This is equation number 1. But here one thing is also mentioned, and suppose one thing I want to say you, suppose you want to write next equation, then already you will get more unknown, right? See, suppose that is given 10%, right? The supply voltage drops by 10%. 10% means that 400 minus the 10% of 400 volt, right? So how much it is? It is 360. So 360 minus, correct? Now what will be current? So for current it is given here constant torque load. So constant torque load means T proportional to phi Ia, that remains constant, means phi 1 Ia1 is equal to phi 2 Ia2. As phi remains constant, my dear friend, so here what we can say, the current will remain also constant. So current will be same, right? So as current will be same, so what we can write? 15, right? And that is proportional to our unknown, and this is equation number 2. So just by solving these two equation, we'll get our answer. What is the value? That value is 1342.93 rpm. Correct? So this is the question. So numerical data type questions are more this year. So basically the difficulty level, what we can say, that is more than the just previous year question, right? So no need to worry. Correct? Thank you.
Dear students, as far as power electronics is concerned, questions are very easy and moderate. So moreover, let us start with the questions. First question Sajjal sir will handle, and remaining questions I will explain.
Thank you, sir. See, the first question is with respect to switch characteristics, and this is very simple question, as the block voltage, yes, the voltage block only one polarity, only is very important, means we can consider forward blocking, we can consider. Okay, now come to the next point. Off state represented here with respect to this, and carry current both direction, carry the current in both direction. This information is going to be very important, as you are observing from the option that yes, this switch can provide us the bidirectional conduction. Here you can say this can also provide the bidirectional conduction, but as the diode is in series, obviously it cannot allow us the bidirectional conduction. Here the diode is in series, obviously it is not going to provide us the bidirectional conduction like this. This is MSQ, multiple select type question. So answer of the question is A and D. Very simple question, no need to discuss furthermore. So let's take the next question. Sir, please.
Right students, we will go with the next question. Yes, you go through this question. It is a bridge rectifier with 3 thyristors and 1 diode, and on the DC side the load current is constant. They have shown it as a current source which maintains constant current. So we have to find out the average voltage across the DC terminals. Okay. So I think this type of numericals already we have discussed in our course regularly. So just go through this. Main thing is you have to understand the output voltage waveform, so that it will be very easy to you. So if you see here in the positive cycle, these 2 diagonal thyristors T1 and T3 is forward biased, and in the negative cycle these 2 diagonal devices T2 and D1 is forward biased, and the device is triggered at alpha is equal to 60 degrees. So here alpha is equal to 60 degrees. So alpha to pi, T1 and T3 will conduct. When T1 and T3 is conducting, output voltage is same as the supply voltage. Okay. So after pi radians, T1 is already conducting before pi, even T3 is conducting. After pi radian, D1 begins. When D1 begins, freewheeling continues up to pi plus alpha. So T3 and D1. So this freewheeling continues up to pi plus alpha. At pi plus alpha, we have triggered thyristor T2. When T2 is switched on, T3 will turn off. So load voltage is minus Vs. So here it is minus Vs. And that continues up to 2 pi plus alpha. T2 and D1 continues. Again at 2 pi plus alpha, triggered T1 and T3. So V0 is same as Vs. Okay. So now let us find out the average output voltage here. So out of one cycle, integral alpha to pi, the output voltage is same as the supply voltage. It is Vm sin omega t plus integral pi to up to 2 pi plus alpha
it is minus Vm sin omega t d omega t. Dear students, generally here we do the mistake. Actually this voltage is minus Vs. Okay, so we have tried minus Vm sin omega. This is the place where people will do generally mistakes. Okay, so after simplifying this one, we get average output voltage is Vm by 2 pi into 1 plus 3 into cos of alpha. Now given firing angle is 60 degrees. Firing angle is 60 degrees. So Vm is 100 by 2 pi 1 plus 3 into cos of 60. Okay. So after simplifying this, answer is 39.78 volts. Okay. So if you go through this question, since the load is having current source, so current is constant. So because of current source, freewheeling continues here, and that is why here this negative voltage continues, because on DC side we are having current source. Otherwise there is a small changes in the waveform. I hope the concept is clear, right? So let us go through the next question. Yes, just go through this question. It is related with commutation techniques. So here thyristor is already in the off state and already required in the steady state. So when this thyristor is in the off state, this capacitor is already charged with Vs volts. Okay, so this capacitor is already charged with Vs volts. Okay, so here Vs is equal to 100 volts. Right. Now when I switch on the thyristor T1, so T1 is switched on at t is equal to 0 seconds. So when T1 is switched on at t is equal to 0 seconds, now it is switched on. So this capacitor will discharge through this LC network. Okay, so here it is an LC network. So the duration of first mode is pi root LC seconds, pi into square root of LC seconds. So that is the duration of first mode. After pi root LC seconds, this capacitor voltage will reverse. Actually here capacitor is discharging energy to the inductor, and then inductor is releasing energy and recharging the capacitor in the reverse direction. So by the end of the next mode, this voltage becomes minus Vs. So what happens in the second mode? In the second mode, the capacitor discharges in the reverse direction here. Okay, so that is nothing but current commutation. So let me discuss the second mode here. In the second mode, the capacitor discharges in the reverse direction. See, it is discharging in the reverse direction and load current is in this direction. So what is the resultant current passing through the thyristor here? This is the second mode. The resultant current passing through the main thyristor is, the load current is Vs by R minus Ip into sine of omega naught into t. That is the resultant current passing through the thyristor in the second mode. Now at the end of the second mode, when these two currents are equal, when I naught means Vs by R is equal to Ip into sine omega t. When these two currents are made equal, current passing through the main thyristor drops to 0 and therefore main thyristor will turn off. So how do you find out the duration of second mode? So at the end of the second mode here, what happens? You equate these two currents here, you will get omega t into duration of second mode is sin inverse of I naught by IP, where IP is equal to Vs into square root of C by L. Okay, just calculate that value. Finally, second mode is equal to root LC sin inverse of I naught by IP. So let us calculate the value of I naught here, Vs by R. So Vs is 100 volts, Vs is 100 volts, resistance is 4 ohms, so I hope it is 25 amperes, and IP is equal to Vs into square root of C by L. So 100 into square root of 1 micro, and this is 4 micro. So that comes to be 50 amperes. Okay. So sin inverse of I naught by IP, it becomes sin inverse of I naught is 25 by 50. So sin inverse 1 by 2. So it is pi by 6. Okay. So if you simplify this, it is pi by 6 into square root of LC seconds. So that means the thyristor will turn off by the end of the second mode. So what is the time taken to turn off the main thyristor? So how long the thyristor is conducting here? How long the thyristor is conducting here? So in this case, the thyristor is conducting for duration of first mode is duration of first mode is T1 plus T2. T1 is pi into square root of LC plus pi by 6 into square root of LC. So that comes to be 7 pi by 6 into root LC seconds. So if you simplify this, you will get 7 pi by 6 into square root of 1 microfarad, that is the value of capacitance. Inductance is 4 microhenry. So that comes to be 7 pi by 6 into 2 into 10 power minus 6. Okay, this is 7 pi by 6. So after simplifying this, answer is 7.33 microseconds. So that is the answer. Okay, so just I will summarize this one. So already we have discussed in the regular course, go through the commutation techniques. It is actually class B commutation. So in the first mode, capacitor is discharging like this. Okay, after pi root LC, it will discharge in the reverse direction. Just add duration of first mode and second mode, and that comes to be the conduction time of thyristor. Okay, so then next the third question you see. Yes, so third question, I will just summarize this one. Sajal sir will handle this one. Yes, just go through this one. It belongs to a 2-quadrant chopper. They have given the gate signals of S1 and S2. Okay, time period is 10 microseconds. So S1 is in the on state for 3 microseconds. Then S2 is in the on state from 5 to 8 microseconds. So here we are asked to find out the average output voltage. Okay, we are asked to find out the average output voltage. So by using the information of gate signals of S1 and S2, first draw the waveform for average output voltage. Okay. Yes. Now let us draw the waveform for output voltage. Just look here. Just I am continuing this one. Yes. See here, up to 3 microseconds, S1 is in the on state. When S1 is in the on state, this current source, DC current source, is directly connected to the supply. Supply voltage is 20 volts. So up to 3 microseconds supply voltage. Then next, when I switch off S1, see here, when I switch off S1, now S1 is off. S1 is off. When S1 is off, the freewheeling continues through D2 here. So from 3 to 5, D2 is conducting here. So D2 means freewheeling. During freewheeling, the output voltage will become 0 volts. So up to 5 microseconds, okay, freewheeling, D2 is conducting. Here S1 is conducting. Then next 5 to 8, see 5 to 8 gate signal is given for S2. See here, even though gate signal is given, since current is in this direction, the voltage drop of D2, which is already conducting, will reverse bias S2, okay, will reverse bias S2 here. It will reverse bias S2. So even though gate signal is given for S2, it will not turn on because D2 is already conducting, because current is already positive current. Okay, S2 cannot conduct because already current is positive. So the drop of D2 will reverse bias S2. So D2 continues to conduct even from 5 to 8. So D2 continues to conduct. So when D2 continues to conduct here, the output voltage is same 0 volts. So even up to 8 microseconds, output voltage is 0. Then after 8, even if I remove the gate pulse, freewheeling continues once again. So even up to 10 microseconds, D2 will conduct. So here D2 continues to conduct continuously up to 10 microseconds. This is one time period. After that the same waveform continues, and for this we have to find out the average voltage. Okay, our Sajjal sir will continue with this.
Yes, as sir has given all the information, means now the calculation is only the part to complete. So what we can say here, average output voltage examiner want to know. Vs is nothing but what? 20 volt, and this is the period, the time, that is nothing but what? 3. So what we can say, the V naught average is going to be 20 multiplied by the period. This period is nothing but what? 3. Out of the total time period means what? 10. Like this we can proceed, and we can say the answer is going to be 6 volt. Examiner want to know the average output voltage, as mode wise discussion by sir beautifully explained. So now we can calculate and give the answer 6 volt. This is the answer of the particular question. All the very best. Thank you.
Right students, all the very best. So definitely questions of power electronics, as we have discussed in the regular course, all the questions are from our workbook, some of the questions are from classroom course. Okay, so I hope almost every student who attended Made Easy definitely can answer. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dear students, 4 questions have been asked from electric circuits. Now in that one, 2 questions are very easy and 2 questions are the moderate. Moderate means only you have to do little calculations. Now come to the first question. In the first question, what is the requirement is the potential difference between the A and the B. Potential difference between the A and the B. Now to find response for any network, what is the general procedure? First you have to identify the connections. Once you identify connections, now we can easily write the respective mathematical equations. Now in this example, if you observe the connections here, let us name this point as A. Now in this example, let us give any other names. Let us give name point this one as a C. Now in the data it's given what is the point of this one is a B. Potential at this point both are at the same potential. Then we can conclude as a these 2 ohms and 2 ohms both are connected to the parallel. Now similarly, if you observe 3 ohms and 3 ohms, one joint is connected here, other joint is connected here. That means this 3 ohms also both are connected to the parallel. Now we got the connections. Now let us simplify the network. If you develop the simplified figure, here the 2 ohms both are in the parallel. What are the equivalent resistance for this one is 1 ohm. Now what about this one is 0.5. In this example 3 ohms and 3 ohms both are connected to the parallel. Then what are the equivalent resistance for this one is 1.5. In the question what is asking the potential difference between the A and the B. Potential difference between the A and the B. In the data itself V1 value is given. What is V1 equal to 8 volts. For this example, this is the ideal voltage source. When ideal voltage source connected in parallel to these branches, no need to focus on the current. No need to focus on the current. Now what is our target? Our target is getting only voltage across A and the B. Voltage across this 3 ohms and voltage across this A and B both are the same. Simply can use the application of the voltage division technique. Can use the application of voltage division technique. Now for this entire branch, what is the total voltage is 8. Similar resistor, what is similar is 1.5 total resistance. Now if you simplify this one, what about this VAB is equal to 6 volts. VAB equal to 6 volts. Now come to the second question. In this second example, what is the requirement is the voltage across the inductor. Voltage across the inductor at T equal to 0 plus. Now to find out response for this one at T equal to 0 plus, first what you have to do, you have to find out the initial values. In the given example, inductor is given and capacitor is also given. Now before solving the problem for this one, first concentrate on the switch position carefully. Focus on switch position carefully. Now correspond given example here at T equal 0 seconds. At T equal 0 seconds the switch is open. T equal 0 seconds the switch is open. Then to find out the initial values, let us see the equivalent circuit. Let us see the equivalent circuit at T equal 0 minus. In this example at T equal 0 minus means immediately before operating switch. The switch was closed. Now 0 minus correspond to the steady state condition before operating switch. How do you indicate inductor as a short circuit and capacitor as a open circuit? In the data itself resistance values are given. Now correspond given information here, whatever resistance of this one is the 2 ohms, resistance this one also 2 ohms, 10 amperes. Now from this one let us find out the initial values. Inductor means focus on the current. Now capacitor के लिए concentrate on the voltage. Now let us find out the initial values. Now to find out this IL value, simply can use the application of current division technique. The 10 ampere distribute the branch 1 and the branch 2. Total current into opposite resistor. For this entire branch, what is the opposite resistor? 3. If you simplify this one, what the current of this one is 6 amperes. Now let us find out the voltage across the capacitor. For this example, in this one no current is circulating. Reason is that it is open circuited. Voltage across this 2 ohms and voltage across the open circuit both are the same. In this 2 ohm resistor, in the calculation how much current we got here? 6 amperes. Now 6 into 2. What the voltage will be? The 12 volts. Now we got the initial values. Now in the question what is asking the voltage across the inductor, at t equal 0 plus. Like either at t equal 0 seconds, what is the switch position? At t equal 0 seconds is the open, t equal 0 seconds is the open. Then let us see the equivalent circuit. At t equal to 0 plus. Now from the given information at t equal to 0 plus, which is the open, that's why no need to consider 3 ohms in the calculation. But remaining part is the 10 amperes. Now inductor have the initial current. When inductor have the initial current, it can be replaced by the current source. That inductor does not allow sudden change of current. Now we already concluded initial current. How much is initial current is 6 amperes. Now capacitor have the initial voltage. Now from the calculation, what is the initial voltage? This one is 12 volts. In the question, what is asking the voltage across the inductor? In this example, that inductor only is indicated as a current source. For this one, to conclude answer easy way, what is the current of this branch is 6 amperes. Wherever the current is entering, that is positive, and other one is a negative. Like either current 6 amperes, resistance 2. What is the voltage will be the 12. Voltage will be 12. Again, if you apply KCL at this point, 10 amperes is incoming, 6 amperes outgoing. What remaining current of this one is 4 amperes. In the data itself given, resistance of this one is 2 ohms. Wherever the current is entering, that is positive, other one is negative. Now 4 into what is the voltage will be the 8 volts. Simply can I select this here in the parallel circuit. In the parallel circuit, voltage of this entire branch, both are the same. Both are the same. They either plus minus means addition. Then total voltage is 12. Total voltage is 20. The same voltage present for this branch also. Total voltage 20. What is the voltage? This one is 12. What is the requirement is VL. Together simplify करने से whatever VL is equal to 8 volts. VL equal to 8 volts. Okay.
Now this question is based on Thevenin's theorem. Is in this given is a dependent source and also a independent source. Only asking the question is VTH. Just apply source transformation, then Ohm's law, it gives the answer now. Okay. Now just apply here source transformation. I of t is given a sine 1000t, the instantaneous value of the Thevenin's equivalent voltage across the terminal AB t at t is equal to 5 milliseconds. Find out VAB of t, VTH of t. Just applying now source transformation. I of t is here. I am just converting into a phasor. Here sine 100t. I am writing a 1 angle 0 here. I am taking a maximum value here is. Otherwise you have to take a RMS value also. So after conversion of this, the circuit becomes okay. Now I am redrawing the circuit. Here 4ix in series. This is a voltage source. Our intention is VTH at here 10 ohms and minus J10. Here 4ix 1 angle 0 into 10 plus J10. This value is 10 plus J10 volts. V is equal to I into Z. Now this is a 10 ohms and J10 ohms. The current is flowing is Ix. Here is Ix. So what is VTH is equal to? VTH is equal to Ix into 10 minus J10. What is Ix value? Just apply KVL in this loop. So 10 plus J10 is equal to 10 plus J10 into Ix. This is Ix is given minus to plus. Going to the other side is minus 4ix and 10 plus J10 into Ix. From this you get a Ix value.
So here is a J10 Ix, here is a minus J10, here is this minus J10 Ix plus J10 Ix get cancelled. So from this you get a Ix and Vth is equal to, just substitute here, you get a 10 minus J10 into Ix. So Vth value will get maybe is in terms of 100 plus 100 by something. So directly Vth value and 16 maybe, this value is 12.5. You write Vth is equal to 12.5 into sine how much, 1000 t, 1000 t. In place of t, 5 milliseconds you have to substitute. 12.5 sine 1000 into 5 milliseconds. So here is a carefully here, this is a now radians per second, second. The value in a radians only. You have to convert it degrees, otherwise you have to put in your calc in a radians, then get an answer is minus 11.98 volts. This is the answer for this question. Okay, so very simple. Next question is based on the power dissipated in the RL load in a watts. So Y is equal to is given, this 2-port network, the parallel is 3 ohms is given. So find out the power. P is equal to I square into R. Otherwise just here I maybe observed in a online test series maybe the question, same similar question. So just PL is equal to I square into RL. First find out what is the Y parameters, total Y parameters. Then you have to apply VTH and RTH, get a answer is here. Now how to find out the Y parameters? Parallel connection, directly you can say Y is equal to YA plus YB in parallel. Already YB is already given. How to find the YA? So directly when our 3 ohms is here, so from this network, how to find out the YB? Directly you can write Y is equal to 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 1 by 3. So many times you have discussed this. So when a 3 ohms is there, you have convert a Siemens 1 by 3 and is a pi network. Here is a 0 plus 1 by 3, 0 plus 1 by 3. There is a Y11 and Y22. Y12 is equal to Y21 is equal to minus 1 by 3. So total Y is equal to, now total Y is equal to, you can write Y is equal to YA plus YB 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3 1 by 3 plus here 5 minus 2.5 minus 2.5 1. So total Y is for this network is 1 by 3 plus 5 16 by 3. So minus 2.5. So minus 7.5 and minus 8.5 by 3. This is the same, minus 8.5 by 3. So 1 plus 1 by 3 is 4 by 3. You got a total Y parameters. Now you can now you write a just equations. I1 is equal to 16 by 3 V1 minus 8.5 by 3 V2, equation 1. Equation 2 is I2 is equal to minus 8.5 by 3 V1 plus 4 by 3 V2. This is second equation. So in this, what is the V1 is equal, already given this, V1 is equal 20 volts, directly given. So how to find out VTH? Just to open circuit this RL, open circuit the RL means I2 is equal to 0. When our I2 is equal to 0 amperes, VTH is equal to V2 or not in this figure? VTH is equal to V2. Just observe. Here is after open circuited, this is I2, so VTH is equal to V2 now. Simply you would substitute in this. VTH is equal to V2. Substitute here now. I2 is equal to 0 minus 8.5 by 3 into V1 plus 4 by 3. Our intention is V1. V1 is already over 2.5 volts or 20 volts. Just substitute here now. 0 is equal to minus 8.5 by 3 into 20 plus 4 by 3 into V2. So 3 get cancelled. So V2 is equal to 8.5 into 20 by 4. 4 ones are 4 5s are. So V2 is nothing but VTH is 5 5s are 25, 5 8 42.5 volts. This VTH value is 42.5 volts. Now find out RTH. So very simple, this RTH is. But RTH is V2 by I2. Here is just short circuit the independent source. Here Y parameters are already there. Now connect voltage source. V by I ratio will give the RTH or not. Here V by I ratio nothing but a V2 by I2 or not. Provided here 20 volts becomes 0 or not. Independent source means independent voltage source replaced by short circuit. Now in this equation, here equation is here. Here equation in this I1 is here is V2 I2 I2 is equal directly this V1 minus 8.5 by 3 V1, it becomes a 0 plus 4 by 3 into V2. Directly you can write V2 by I2 is equal to I2 is 3 by 4 ohms. This is the value is here ZTH or RTH. Now the total network becomes VTH here 42.5 volts and RTH is 3 by 4 and RL is equal to is given is 6 ohms. Now first find out I is equal to 42.5 upon here 3 by 4 plus 6 and P is equal to I square into RL. This value are nearly equal to 237.28 or nearly equal to 238 watts. Simple. This is now. These are the 4 questions is from the electrical circuits. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening students. I am Srinivas, faculty of English. Now we were able to collect 4 questions, two marks questions from an area called critical reasoning and 2 questions, one from analogy, another based on vocabulary and another based on grammar. Yes, but unfortunately the data for one question in critical reasoning is incomplete. So that's why it was difficult to gather the information. That's why I had to leave it, and I'm going to discuss these 3 questions. First one, a question based on analogy. Look at this. What is analogy? A comparison made based on similarity is called analogy. First, to be able to fill the blank of this, you need to understand what is common between these two, right? And fourth, relax. If you take the meaning into consideration, these two have an opposite sense. Right? Opposites, antonym. Yes. So this is antonym relation. So these two should be antonyms. You need to find out the opposite word for a word called permit. Permit, does it have a positive sense or negative sense? And okay, so it has a positive sense. You need to choose something which is just the opposite in sense. Allow, license is just nonsense. It doesn't fit the context. And then reinforce. Reinforce, forbid, allow. See, Permit is to allow somebody to do something or to something, allow something to happen, right? So answer is obviously opposite of which is to restrict. Forbid is to restrict, right? Restrict. It also means prohibit. You have hell a lot of synonyms of this word, right? So answer is C. Because relax happens to be the opposite of enforce, you need to find out a word which is the opposite of forbid. Okay, permit. Allow is the similar word. License is misfit, it is irrelevant option, right? So answer is forbid, restrict. Now let's look at the next question. This is based on grammar. Rita told Mary, I am thinking of watching a film this weekend, and you are supposed to find out the reported speech of this particular expression. Reported speech means indirect speech. Actually in the instruction it was reported, okay, reported form, but for the sake of convenience I kept indirect speech. So practically you are supposed to find out the indirect speech of this statement that's highlighted, put it in quotations. Now when you convert a sentence from direct to indirect, you are supposed to keep a few changes in mind. First the tense changes, the time changes, and then place changes if place is there. Place is not there, just don't worry about it. The person changes. I am thinking of, I becomes she. Who told who? A girl called Rita told a girl called Mary. And it is the plan of that girl, the speaker Rita. I becomes a she. Of course, I has become she. Let me change. Yeah. I became she. This is fine. This weekend, this becomes that. Time has changed. This is proper. Now tense also needs to change, right? Tense needs to change. If you look at the options, let's use elimination. I am thinking is written I am thinking. When you convert a sentence from direct to indirect, the tense is supposed to change. The same tense is reflecting in option A, that's why it's wrong. Now is thinking, present continuous, same tense, expression may be different, this is also same tense. Present continuous becomes past continuous, right? So here this is simple past. You need to choose past continuous. What is the structure of past continuous? Subject plus was or were plus fourth form of the verb. Because she is singular, was. Answer is B. Was thinking. I am thinking became was thinking. And the third question. Look at this. This is from critical reasoning part. There are two passages actually. One is based on this tobacco, the other one is on cancer disease, and that information was incomplete. That's why we are not able to discuss that. Now look at this. A recent survey shows that 65% of tobacco users were advised to stop consuming tobacco. Right? They were advised to stop using it. The survey also shows that 3 out of 10 tobacco users attempted to stop using tobacco. Based on the interpretation of the above passage, which of the following options can be logically inferred? Question based on inference. Now let's use elimination technique. Okay, you know what elimination technique in the classes we discussed time and again. Rather than focusing on what is the answer, we focus on eliminating unnecessary options and we will be left with one. That's our answer, right? Now option A is wrong. Why is option A wrong? Approximately 30% of the tobacco users successfully stopped. This part of this sentence in option A spoils it. So that's wrong. Why? Because it is contradictory to the information given in the passage. What does the passage say? Look at this. 3 out of 10 tobacco users attempted to stop using tobacco. They attempt, 3 out of 10 users of tobacco attempted to stop. You need to consider this word attempt in order to eliminate option A, right? So option A is saying that they were successful in stopping, but it says they only gave an attempt. Every attempt does not yield a good result, positive result. So first one is wrong. Now if you look at the option C, a majority of tobacco users who were advised to stop consuming tobacco made an attempt. He says majority made. Based on this keyword, you can eliminate option C. Option A is eliminated based on the keyword successfully stopped. They didn't stop, they just gave an attempt. And he says a majority 3 out of 10 becomes 30%. How can 30% be majority? It is the lower end, right? So it is not majority, that's why option C should be eliminated. Now look at the option D. Approximately 60% of 5% of tobacco users successfully stopped. They didn't stop. This 65% is attributed to, look at the passage, 65% in the passage is used to refer to people who were advised to stop it. So 65% is attributed to be advised not to stop. That's why it's wrong. Approximately 65% of tobacco users successfully stopped. They didn't stop. 65% of the tobacco users were advised against it, to stop it. So this is again contradictory to the sentence. So again here stopped, take this word stopped, based on which you can eliminate. So if you eliminate option A because of successfully stopped, eliminate C because of majority, 30% cannot be majority, 3 out of 10, right? And then option D should be eliminated because it is saying that they stopped. No, it is not about using or stopping. It is being advised, 65%. Then what are you left with? B. That is the answer. And we also need to have a plausible, convincing explanation as to why B is right. Listen to it. A majority of tobacco users who were advised to stop consuming tobacco did not attempt to do so. Obviously, based on the same 31, 30% of the people, and that means 3 out of 10, that is 30% people only gave an attempt. They tried. That means lower end of people, not majority of the people. So that means majority of the people ignored that particular advice. So answer is this. Majority did not follow means majority ignored it, right? Minority of the people followed it. Hope this is done, right? So answer is B. Okay, all the best kids.
So hello everyone. So welcome to the question electromagnetic field theory. So this is a question. So let us see this question. An infinite surface of linear current distribution. So this is a sheet current, right? So this is a k vector actually, right? So this is your k vector, which is 5ax given. So they are asking what is the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity at 1, 1, 1, right? So what we know that the magnetic field due to sheet current, the magnetic field due to sheet current is equal to half of k cross an, isn't it? So here k vector, it is given as 5ax, right? And let us see an cap. So you can see that the point is 1, 1, 1. So you can see that 1, 1, 1. So here let us say this is 1, 1, 1. So this is the normal vector an cap. An cap, it is in which direction? It is in az direction, isn't it? So what is an? So an is nothing but your az cap, correct? Fine. So therefore what we can do is here, so therefore what is your h vector? So h vector is equal to 1 by 2 5ax cross az, right? So this is how much? It is a 2.5 Now AX cross AZ, it is equal to minus of AY. Now in the question they are asking the magnitude. If you see the question, so they are asking the magnitude. So what is the magnitude? So mod of H vector, it is equal to 2.5 ampere per meter. So this is the answer. So thank you everyone.
गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। मैं पावर सिस्टम डिस्कस करूंगा, जितने क्वेश्चंस मुझे मिले हैं उनको मैं डिस्कस करूंगा, ठीक है। और टाइम को बचाने के लिए मैंने खुद से पहले से सॉल्व कर रखा है, तो मैं खाली एक्सप्लेन कर दूंगा चीज़ों को। क्वेश्चंस जो हैं मेरे हिसाब से मॉडरेट लेवल पे हैं, बहुत आसान भी नहीं कहेंगे और बहुत कठिन भी नहीं कहेंगे। एक्सेप्शनली कठिन हो ऐसा भी नहीं है और एक्सेप्शनली आसान हो ऐसा भी नहीं। तो पहला क्वेश्चन, हालांकि ये 3 फेज सर्किट कुछ लोग नेटवर्क के लिए भी समझते हैं, बट चूंकि पावर सिस्टम में मैं पढ़ाता हूँ 3 फेज सर्किट, तो ये क्वेश्चन मैंने पावर सिस्टम में रखा है, तो ठीक है ना, आवाज आती। तो इस क्वेश्चन में क्या है, अ बैलेंस डेल्टा कनेक्टेड लोड कंसिस्टिंग ऑफ सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ वन रजिस्टर of 15 ohm and capacitance of this much farad in each phase is connected to 3 phase 50 hertz for 15 volt supply। देखो ये क्वेश्चंस जो हैं वो मेमोरी बेस्ड हैं, इसलिए बहुत ज़्यादा क्लियर ना स्टेटमेंट है, ठीक है। स्टेटमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा क्लियर नहीं है, बट जो क्वेश्चन समझ में आ रहा है उसके हिसाब से मैं आपको आंसर दे रहा हूँ। कहने का मतलब ये है कि एक डेल्टा कनेक्टेड लोड है जिसके हर फेज में सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन है आर और सी का, और ये जो लोड है इसको हमने सप्लाई से जोड़ा है, एक इंडक्टर के इंडक्टिव इंपीडेंस के थ्रू जोड़ा है। ये एल की वैल्यू दे रखा है, कितना दे रखा है, 31.83 मिली हेनरी, ये दे रखा है इंडक्टेंस की। कैपेसिटेंस की वैल्यू दे रखा है, आर की वैल्यू दे रखा है, और क्या पूछा है आपको, पूछा है टर्मिनल वोल्टेज वीएबी, यानी आपसे ये वोल्टेज पूछा, दिस वोल्टेज वीए, ये वीएबी पूछा। तो ये कोई बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन नहीं है, आपसे वीएबी पूछा है, ठीक है। आप इसको कौन सी बेसिस पे सॉल्व करोगे, ये एक बैलेंस 3 फेज सिस्टम है, इसकी स्टडी पर फेज बेसिस पे होती है, मैं आपको क्लास में बार बार बोलता हूँ। तो इस बैलेंस 3 फेज सर्किट की स्टडी पर फेज बेसिस पे करनी है, और पर फेज बेसिस पे स्टडी करने से पहले हमको ये सिस्टम का 3 फेज सर्किट बना, 3 फेज सर्किट बनाने के बाद ही पर फेज बनता है। तो 3 फेज सर्किट बना तो वैसे है, बट चूंकि कैलकुलेशन फेजर डोमेन में करनी है, तो फेजर डोमेन में कैलकुलेशन करने के लिए यहाँ पे इंडक्टर की जगह, इंडक्टेंस की जगह रिएक्टेंस होगा, रिएक्टेंस होता है जे ओमेगा एल, ठीक है। तो जे ओमेगा की वैल्यू कितनी होगी बेटा, बहुत आसानी से आप समझ जाओगे, ओमेगा होता है 2 पाई एफ, ठीक है। 50 हर्ट्ज फ्रीक्वेंसी दिया है, तो 2 पाई की वैल्यू 3.14 और ये हो गया 50, तो ये 314 होगा, दिस इज ओमेगा 314। तो जे ओमेगा और एल की वैल्यू दिया है 31.83 मिली हेनरी, सो मैंने इसको लिखा है 31.83 इंटू 10⁻³ हेनरी। कुल मिला के जब आप कैलकुलेशन करोगे तो जो ये जो सोर्स को लोड से जोड़ने वाला इंपीडेंस है, इसका रिएक्टेंस आ रहा है J10, तो ये J10 है, ये J10 है, ये J10 है। ये क्या है, इंपीडेंस ऑफ दी कनेक्शन बिटवीन द सोर्स एंड लोड, सोर्स और लोड के बीच में जो इंपीडेंस है, जो कनेक्शन है उसका इंपीडेंस है J10। अच्छा, आर की वैल्यू 15 ओम दिया है, सी की वैल्यू फैराड में दिया था, जिसको आपको रिएक्टेंस में बदलना होगा, आपने पढ़ा होगा क्या होता है। सी की अगर हम रिएक्टेंस लिखेंगे कैपेसिटर के लिए तो -1/ω/c लिखना है, जे हमने लगा दिया कैपेसिटर है इसलिए -1/ω/c की वैल्यू, ठीक है। ओमेगा 314, सी की वैल्यू इतना दिया है, माइक्रो फैराड दिया था तो 10⁻⁶ लिखा। इस कैलकुलेशन को करोगे तो ये -J15 आ रहा है, यानी जो कैपेसिटर है इसका रिएक्टेंस -15 ओम, तो रजिस्टर 15 ओम और कैपेसिटर -15 ओम का रजिस्टर 15 ओम और कैपेसिटर -15 ओम दिया हुआ है, और इसका सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन है, तो ओवरऑल ये हो जाएगा 15 - J15। तो ये ब्रांच हो गया 15 - J15, ये हो गया 15 - J15, ये भी हो गया 15 - J15। अब मुझे ये VAB निकालना है। ये एक बैलेंस 3 फेज सर्किट है, इसकी स्टडी पर फेज बेसिस पे करनी होगी, और पर फेज बेसिस पे स्टडी करने के लिए आपको क्या बनाना होगा, पर फेज इक्विवेलेंट बनाना होगा, ठीक है। परफेज इक्विवेलेंट बनाने के लिए इस डेल्टा को मुझे स्टार में बदलना होता है। आपने क्लास में पढ़ा होगा, सब कुछ डिटेल में बताया गया। तो इस डेल्टा को स्टार में अगर मुझे बदलना है तो कैसे बदलूंगा? डेल्टा को अगर स्टार में बदलते हैं, ये फार्मूला यूज होगा, जेड स्टार इज जेड डेल्टा बाई 3। तो जेड डेल्टा है 15 माइनस जे 15, जेड डेल्टा इज 15 माइनस जे 15। तो स्टार इक्विवेलेंट में आएगा 15 माइनस जे 15 डिवाइडेड बाई 3 विच इज 5 माइनस जे 5। तो स्टार इक्विवेलेंट में 5 माइनस जे 5 आएगा। और जब आप परफेज इक्विवेलेंट बनाओगे ए से न्यूट्रल लेके, तो परफेज इक्विवेलेंट कुछ ऐसा बने। दिस इज द परफेज इक्विवेलेंट, परफेज इक्विवेलेंट। इसमें हो गया स्टार इक्विवेलेंट वाला 5 माइनस जे 5, और ये जो इम्पीडेंस है जो सोर्स और लोड को जोड़ रहा है। अच्छा, परफेज में जो ए से न्यूट्रल लेके बनाते हैं इसलिए फेज वोल्टेज होता है। तो फेज वोल्टेज कितना? सोर्स जो है हमारा, सप्लाई जो है हमारा 415 वोल्ट का है, 415 415 वोल्ट का है। और आपको पता है 3 फेज सिस्टम में जो वोल्टेज गिवन होता है वो लाइन वोल्टेज होता है। तो लाइन वोल्टेज अगर 415 वोल्ट है तो यहाँ परफेज सर्किट में जो फेज वोल्टेज दिखाओगे वो 415/√3 हो। अब ये जो वोल्टेज है, चूंकि ये परफेज सर्किट है, तो ये VAN मिलेगा। और ये VAN सिंपली वोल्टेज डिवीजन रूल लगा लो, सीरीज में आपको दिख रहा है, वोल्टेज डिवीजन रूल लगा लो। कितना हो जाएगा? हमको चाहिए इसके क्रॉस वोल्टेज चाहिए, तो जिसके क्रॉस वोल्टेज चाहिए उसका इंपीडेंस डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल इंपीडेंस इनटू द टोटल वोल्टेज। ठीक है, तो ये VAN आ गया। अब अगर इसको मैग्नीट्यूड वाइज समझो तो क्या होगा? इसको हमने कैलकुलेट किया तो ये 5 माइनस जे 5 और ये माइनस जे 5 प्लस जे 10 मिला के फिर से ये प्लस जे 10 हो जाएगा। तो इस VAN का अगर क्योंकि हमको आंसर में सिर्फ मैग्नीट्यूड लिखना है, तो VAN का मैग्नीट्यूड जो होगा वो 415/√3 होगा। क्यों? क्योंकि ये वाला जो टर्म है 5 माइनस जे 5 डिवाइडेड बाई 5 प्लस जे 5, इसका मैग्नीट्यूड 1 होगा। तो समझ सकते हो दोनों का मैग्नीट्यूड सेम है, तो रेशियो जो होगा 1 हो जाएगा। तो इसका मैग्नीट्यूड 1 हो गया, तो जो भी ये मैग्नीट्यूड है वही VAN का मैग्नीट्यूड हो गया। अच्छा, VAN इतना मिल गया और आपसे VA भी पूछा, लाइन वोल्टेज पूछा है। तो अगर फेज वोल्टेज इतना है तो लाइन वोल्टेज के लिए √3 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे। √3 से जब मल्टीप्लाई करोगे इसमें तो ये आंसर हो जाएगा। तो जो VAB है, लोड के टर्मिनल पे लाइन वोल्टेज जो है वो 415 वोल्ट होगा, जो कि आसान क्वेश्चन है। ठीक है, तो ये पहला क्वेश्चन हो गया। दूसरा क्वेश्चन में आपको एक सिस्टम का वाई बस मैट्रिक्स दिया है। ठीक है, एक सिस्टम का वाई बस मैट्रिक्स दिया है और कुछ आपसे पूछा गया, ठीक है, कि किस लाइन के लिए कौन से लाइन के पास लाइन चार्जिंग कैपेसिटेंस है, कौन सी लाइन मतलब किस लाइन के लिए लाइन चार्जिंग कैपेसिटेंस है, कौन सी बस पे शंट कैपेसिटर जोड़ा गया है, ऐसा इन्होंने पूछा है। ऑप्शंस मेरे पास बहुत क्लियर नहीं है, इसलिए मैं आंसर इसमें नहीं बोलूंगा कि क्या आंसर हो। ठीक है, क्योंकि जो आंसर्स ऑप्शंस हैं अब ये मेमोरी बेस्ड हैं। कुछ लोग, क्योंकि मैं अगर बोल दूं ए होगा, बी होगा या ये होगा, तो आप फिर कहोगे सर आपने तो ये बोला, इसलिए मैं कुछ बोल नहीं रहा हूं। मैं इस वाई बस का सर्किट बना दे और उससे जो जो चीजें हैं एक्सप्लेन कर दूंगा। ठीक है, जो ऑप्शन है, अगर आपने सर्किट बना लिया और सारी चीजें आपको समझ में आ रही है तो ऑप्शन भी आप सेलेक्ट कर लोगे। ठीक है, मैं जानबूझ के ऑप्शन क्यों नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि ऑप्शंस जो मेरे पास लिखे गए वो क्या वही हैं जो एग्जाम में आया था या नहीं आया था, इसके बारे में मैं क्लियर नहीं, तो मैं इसका सर्किट बना के दिखा रहा हूँ। ठीक है, तो ये जो वाई बस दिया है, अच्छा ये भी आसान क्वेश्चन है, कोई इसको नहीं कहेगा कठिन क्वेश्चन है। अच्छा, एक चीज इस क्वेश्चन में इन्होंने ये लिखा है कि कहीं पे शंट इंडक्टर नहीं है, शंट इंडक्टर इज नॉट कनेक्टेड, कहीं पे इंडक्टर नहीं लगा। ठीक है, शंट इंडक्टर नहीं लगा है कहीं पे, इन्होंने ऐसा बोला है। ठीक है, अब अगर इस वाई बस का आप सर्किट बनाओगे, ये वाई बस दिया है आपको सवाल, ठीक है, इसका सर्किट बनाना है। पहली बात तो ये वाई बस 3x3 है, तो वाई बस 3x3 है, इसका मतलब जो नंबर ऑफ बसेस हैं वो 3 है। ठीक है, अब कौन सी बस पे शंट ब्रांच है, किस पे नहीं है, इसको पहचानने के लिए मैंने आपको बताया क्लास में, आप रोज को ऐड कर दीजिए। आपको बताया गया है क्लास में कि जब वाई बस की रो को ऐड करते हो, वाई बस की रो एंट्रीज को ऐड करते हो, सम अगर 0 आता है, यानी अगर 0 आ गया तो यहाँ कोई शंट ब्रांच नहीं, नो शंट ब्रांच इज प्रेजेंट एट फर्स्ट बस पे कोई शंट ब्रांच नहीं। क्यों? क्योंकि पहले रो की एंट्रीज का सम 0 आया है, इसलिए पहले बस पे कोई शंट ब्रांच नहीं। दूसरे रो की एंट्रीज का सम J0.5 आया और इसका J1 है, यानी दूसरे और तीसरे बस पे शंट ब्रांच है। और नॉन जीरो आने पे, नॉन जीरो अगर रो का सम नॉन जीरो आता है मतलब शंट ब्रांच है। और जो शंट ब्रांच जो नॉन जीरो वैल्यू जोड़ने पे आती है, इससे ये तो क्लियर होता है कि शंट ब्रांच है, जैसे दूसरे पे भी है और तीसरे पे भी शंट ब्रांच है। साथ में ये जो नॉन जीरो वैल्यू होती है वो बस पे जो नेट शंट ब्रांच है, नेट शंट एडमिटेंस है वो होता है। बेसिकली अगर आपने सेकेंड रो को जोड़ा और आपको आंसर में मिला J0.5, इसका मतलब दूसरे बस पे नेट शंट एडमिटेंस जो है J0.5, तीसरे बस पे नेट शंट एडमिटेंस जो है वो J1 है। तो दूसरे बस पे नेट शंट एडमिटेंस J0.5, तीसरे बस पे नेट शंट एडमिटेंस J1 है। ठीक है, तो अब बस इसी हिसाब से हमको सर्किट बनाना है। ठीक है, अच्छा ये जो एंट्री होती है आप समझ सकते हो। अगर मेरे से कोई बोले Y12 कितना है, तो आपको 1 और 2 के बीच में जो एडमिटेंस है उसकी नेगेटिव वैल्यू, तो 1 और 2 के बीच में जो एडमिटेंस की नेगेटिव वैल्यू है J10, तो एडमिटेंस खुद में -J10, यानी इस वैल्यू को देख के J10 को देख के ये समझ में आ रहा है कि बस नंबर 1 और 2 के बीच में जो एडमिटेंस है -J10 है। अच्छा, एडमिटेंस नेगेटिव है मतलब रिएक्टेंस पॉजिटिव है, और वो किसके लिए होता है? इंडक्टर के लिए, इसलिए मैंने इंडक्टर बनाया। अच्छा, Y12 से हमको मिल गया -J10, Y13 J5, Y13 J5 है, यानी 1 और 3 के बीच में एडमिटेंस -J5 हो, तभी तो Y13 J5 आएगा। तो 1 और 3 के बीच में एडमिटेंस -J5 होगी। अच्छा, उसके बाद ये जो 2-3 है Y23 सेकेंड रो थर्ड, Y23 J4 है, J सब में है, J बाहर लिख दे इसलिए मैंने, तो Y23 J4 है, यानी 2 और 3 के बीच में जो एडमिटेंस है, 2 और 3 के बीच में जो एडमिटेंस है वो -J4, तो 2 और 3 के बीच में एडमिटेंस -J4 होगी। ठीक है, अच्छा अब ध्यान दो, पहले बस पे कोई शंट ब्रांच नहीं है, इसका मतलब समझो अगर इस लाइन का, अगर ये जैसे अगर खाली सीरीज ब्रांच है तो ये शॉर्ट लाइन होगी, सीरीज ब्रांच मतलब शॉर्ट लाइन। अगर शंट ब्रांच होता इस लाइन का, ठीक है, तब ये मीडियम लाइन, लाइन चार्जिंग कैपेसिटेंस अगर होता 1 और 2 के बीच में जो लाइन है, अगर उसका लाइन चार्जिंग कैपेसिटेंस होता तो यहाँ एक शंट ब्रांच आता। अच्छा, जैसे ही ये शंट ब्रांच आता तो जो Y11 है, ये सॉरी ये जो फर्स्ट रो का सम है वो 0 फिर नहीं है। तो अगर पहली रो का सम 0 है, इसका मतलब पहले बस पे कोई शंट ब्रांच नहीं। अगर पहले बस पे शंट ब्रांच नहीं है, इसका मतलब ना यहाँ पे ना इस लाइन का लाइन चार्जिंग कैपेसिटेंस है, ना इस लाइन का, क्योंकि अगर मान लो दोनों लाइन के पास लाइन चार्जिंग कैपेसिटेंस होता, लाइन चार्जिंग ससेप्टेंस होता, लाइन चार्जिंग एडमिटेंस होता, अगर दोनों लाइन पे कुछ हो गया क्या? अच्छा, तो अगर इस लाइन और इस लाइन के पास, अगर इस लाइन और इस लाइन के पास अगर लाइन चार्जिंग एडमिटेंस होता, तो फिर पहले बस पे पहली रो का सम 0 नहीं होता। अब अगर 0 है, इसका मतलब ना इस लाइन के पास ना इस लाइन के पास एडमिटेंस है, ना इस लाइन के पास लाइन चार्जिंग एडमिटेंस है, ना इस लाइन। ठीक है, ये बात समझ में आ गई। अच्छा, इस लाइन के पास देखो, अच्छा ये मैंने पहले से कैसे बना दिया था, देखो ऐसे, ये वाली ब्रांच तो हमको समझ में आ गई। ठीक है, अब एक चीज नोटिस करो, सेकंड बस पे एडमिटेंस है, शंट एडमिटेंस है 0.5। ठीक है, अगर इस लाइन के पास लाइन चार्जिंग एडमिटेंस नहीं है, तो जो ये 0.5 है वो इस लाइन का होगा, यानी इस लाइन का 0.5 होगा। अब अगर इस लाइन का 0.5 है, बेसिकली हाफ लाइन चार्जिंग एडमिटेंस है, हाफ। अगर टोटल लाइन चार्जिंग एडमिटेंस की बात करें इस लाइन के लिए, तो वो 0.5 इंटू 2 होगा, क्योंकि यहाँ YT/2 होता है, हाफ लाइन चार्जिंग एडमिटेंस होता है। तो ये जो आया है J0.5, वो इस लाइन का हाफ लाइन चार्जिंग एडमिटेंस है। अगर यहाँ पे 0.5 है तो यहाँ भी 0.5 है। अब थर्ड बस पे सम हमको चाहिए J1, थर्ड बस पे शंट ब्रांच, थर्ड बस पे नेट शंट एडमिटेंस चाहिए J1। अगर एक एडमिटेंस यहाँ पे है 0.5 और नेट एडमिटेंस J1 बनाना है, तो यहाँ पे भी 0.5 होना ही चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर 0.5 और 0.5 का पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन करोगे तो J1 आ जाएगा। बात समझ रहे? तो क्या इसका आंसर होगा कि जो लाइन है बिटवीन, देखो ऐसे 1 और 2 के बीच में जो लाइन है, 1 और 2 के बीच में जो लाइन है, कोई भी नो लाइन चार्जिंग ससेप्टेंस। 1 और 2 के बीच में जो लाइन है, इसमें कोई लाइन चार्जिंग ससेप्टेंस नहीं। 1 और 3 के बीच में भी जो लाइन है, उसमें भी लाइन चार्जिंग ससेप्टेंस नहीं। 2 और 3 के बीच में जो लाइन है, उसमें है लाइन चार्जिंग ससेप्टेंस है, लाइन चार्जिंग ससेप्टेंस है इज प्रेजेंट, और साथ में पहले बस पे कोई संट ब्रांच कनेक्टेड नहीं है, संट कैपेसिटेंस पहले बस पे नहीं है, दूसरे बस पे संट कैपेसिटेंस जोड़ा नहीं गया, तीसरे बस पे जोड़ा, तो थर्ड बस हैज संट कैपेसिटर कनेक्टेड टू इट, थर्ड बस पे संट कैपेसिटर, ठीक है। ये क्यों यहाँ पे 0.5 हमको कैसे समझ में आ रहा है, ये समझ रहे हो ना, थर्ड रो का सम J1 तो 0.5 अगर इस लाइन का हाफ लाइन चार्जिंग ससेप्टेंस है तो ये 0.5 होना ही चाहिए, तो ये आंसर है, ठीक है। इसी हिसाब से आप अपने ऑप्शंस को मैच कर लेना, ऑप्शंस देख लेना, ठीक है। तो ये क्वेश्चन हो गया। उसके बाद ये क्वेश्चन, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा लेंथी क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है। ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा नहीं, काफी लेंथी क्वेश्चन। इन्होंने ये कहा कि एक दो जनरेटर वाला सिस्टम है, एक 2 जनरेटर का सिस्टम है जो डिमांड कितना सप्लाई कर रहा है, 290 मेगावाट। 2 जनरेटर है, डिमांड सप्लाई हो रहा है 290 मेगावाट। ये Pg1 है, ये Pg2 है, ठीक है। इकोनॉमिक शेड्यूलिंग के हिसाब से, अच्छा दोनों जनरेटर के लिए आपको कॉस्ट कर दिया हुआ, कॉस्ट कर रुपीस पर आवर में कॉस्ट कर दिया हुआ। जनरेटर 1 के लिए ये कॉस्ट कर दिया है, बेसिकली एक्सप्रेशन दिया है, और इस जनरेटर 2 के लिए ये एक्सप्रेशन दिया, और दोनों का लिमिट भी दिया, जनरेशन का लिमिट दिया, Pg1 Pg2 दोनों के लिए लिमिट दिया। अब उन्होंने कहा कि जब डिमांड 290 मेगावाट है तो इकोनॉमिक शेड्यूलिंग के हिसाब से Pg1 175 है और Pg2 115 है। डिमांड 290 के लिए इकोनॉमिक शेड्यूलिंग के हिसाब से Pg1 है ये और Pg2 ये। अब इन्होंने कहा कि अगर ये जो A की वैल्यू है इसको हम 10% बढ़ा दें तो बताइए सेम डिमांड के लिए Pg1 Pg2 और टोटल कॉस्ट जो कि दोनों की कॉस्ट का सम है वो बढ़ेगा कि घटेगा। मतलब A को 10% बढ़ा दे, ये जो कांस्टेंट है A, इसको अगर 10% बढ़ा दे तो सेम डिमांड के लिए Pg1 Pg2 और टोटल कॉस्ट F में क्या चेंज आएगा, बढ़ेगा कि घटेगा, बस ये पूछे। तो पहले तो समझिए कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे। देखिए ऐसे, अगर मैं कॉस्ट कर्व से इंक्रीमेंटल कॉस्ट कर्व निकालूंगा तो F1 का डिफरेंशियल लूंगा तो IC1 आएगा, कितना हो जाएगा, इसका डिफरेंशियल, कॉस्ट का डिफरेंशियल होता है इंक्रीमेंटल, तो कितना हो जाएगा 0.2 A Pg1 प्लस 40, ये हो गया रुपीस पर मेगावाट आवर में। और F2 कितना हो जाएगा, F2 मतलब सेकंड का IC2 कितना हो जाएगा 0.4 Pg2 प्लस 30 रुपीस पर मेगावाट आवर। तो ये दोनों के लिए इंक्रीमेंटल कॉस्ट हो गया, ठीक। अब उसके बाद ध्यान दीजिए, इकोनॉमिक शेड्यूलिंग के हिसाब से, इकोनॉमिक शेड्यूलिंग के हिसाब से IC1 और IC2 सेम होना चाहिए। हालांकि ये मैंने आपको क्लास में जो पढ़ाया है उसके हिसाब से ये केस 2 का सवाल है, बट केस 2 के सवाल में भी हम शॉर्टकट लगाते हैं केस 1 वाला। तो IC1 और IC2 दोनों सेम रखेंगे। इकोनॉमिक शेड्यूलिंग कब होता है, इकोनॉमिक लोड डिस्पैच के लिए दोनों यूनिट को एक ही इंक्रीमेंटल पे काम करना चाहिए, तो दोनों यूनिट एक ही इंक्रीमेंटल कॉस्ट पे काम करेंगे तब इकोनॉमिक शेड्यूलिंग होगा, इकोनॉमिक लोड डिस्पैच होगा। तो उस लिहाज से IC1 और IC2 को सॉल्व कर इक्वेट करके हम लोग सॉल्व करेंगे। कैसे, IC1 इक्वल टू IC2 हमने रखा, और हमको पता है कि इकोनॉमिक शेड्यूलिंग के हिसाब से Pg1 175 और Pg2 115 है, तो Pg1 को 175 और Pg2 को 115 रखिएगा। यहाँ से सॉल्व करके आपको A की वैल्यू ये मिलेगी, कैलकुलेशन आप देख लीजिएगा, ये A की वैल्यू मिलेगी। तो जो एक डेटा इन्होंने दिया उससे हमने A की वैल्यू निकाल ली। अब A को इन्होंने 10% बढ़ाना है, तो जो नया A है जिसको मैं A डैश कह रहा हूं वो 1.1 A 10% बढ़ गया, यानी 10% बढ़ने के बाद ये A की वैल्यू 10% बढ़ने के बाद इतनी हो गई 1.13 हो गई। अब उसके बाद फिर से सेम डिमांड के लिए आपको Pg1 Pg2 निकालना है, तो कैसे निकलेगा भाई, इकोनॉमिक शेड्यूलिंग के हिसाब से IC1 IC2 तो सेम होना ही चाहिए। तो IC1 कितना है, IC1 देखिए 0.2 A डैश चाहिए ना, A डैश, तो A डैश कितना है, A डैश है 1.1314 Pg1 प्लस 40 IC1 नए A के साथ, मतलब 10% इंक्रीज्ड A के साथ, दिस इज IC1 एंड दिस इज IC2। तो ये एक इक्वेशन हो गया, और डिमांड तो सेम है, तो Pg1 प्लस Pg2 290 हो गया। तो इसको सॉल्व करेंगे, ठीक है, यहाँ से इन दो इक्वेशन को सॉल्व करेंगे। जब आप इन दो इक्वेशन को सॉल्व करेंगे तो आपको मिल जाएगा, इन दो इक्वेशन को सॉल्व करके आपको Pg1 की ये वैल्यू मिल जाएगी और Pg2 की ये वैल्यू मिल जाएगी। तो अब नोटिस करिए Pg1 पहले 100 कितना था Pg1, जब a की वैल्यू a सिर्फ थी, a को जब हमने बढ़ाया नहीं था उस समय Pg1 कितना था 175। a की ओरिजिनल वैल्यू के साथ, यानी इस वैल्यू के साथ a की कौन सी वैल्यू है ओरिजिनल वैल्यू, ये वैल्यू a की ओरिजिनल वैल्यू के साथ Pg1 175 था, और जब हमने a को 10% बढ़ा दिया तो Pg1 इतना हो गया, यानी Pg1 रिड्यूस हो गया। a को 10% बढ़ाया तो Pg1 रिड्यूस हो गया, और Pg2 जो 115 था ओरिजिनल वैल्यू के साथ, अब वो बढ़ के 120 हो गया, यानी Pg2 बढ़ गया। तो Pg1 घटेगा, Pg2 बढ़ेगा। अब बात आएगी टोटल कॉस्ट। तो टोटल कॉस्ट के लिए आपको सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा। कैसे सॉल्व करोगे? आप निकालोगे टोटल कॉस्ट f, कब निकालोगे? f1 की वैल्यू Pg1 इक्वल टू 175 प्लस f2 की वैल्यू Pg2 इक्वल टू 115, इस पे निकाल लीजिए, ठीक है, टोटल कॉस्ट f। और जब a को हमने 10% बढ़ाया उस समय टोटल कॉस्ट कैसे होगा? f1 की वैल्यू Pg1 इक्वल टू कितना हम निकाला है 169.32 प्लस f2 Pg2 की इस वैल्यू के लिए कितना 120.68, ये निकाल लीजिए। और फिर दोनों को कंपेयर कर लीजिए, ये f ओल्ड मान लीजिए, ये f न्यू मान लीजिए, कंपेयर कर लीजिए दोनों में से, आपको समझ में आ जाएगी। तो एग्जैक्टली आपको खाली वैल्यू पुट करनी। तो f1 ये ओल्ड और न्यू, इन दोनों में से कौन बड़ा है कौन छोटा है, उसके हिसाब से आपने आंसर भर देना है, ठीक है। कोई बताएगा मुझे क्या आंसर आया था? पता नहीं, जो भी कोई बोल नहीं रहा है तो मैं उसके ऊपर टाइम खराब नहीं करूंगा। अच्छा, इस सवाल में इन्होंने कहा है कि टाइप ऑफ बसेस पहचानना है, आपको समझ में आना चाहिए। मॉड वी और डेल्टा मेंशन है, मॉड वी और डेल्टा मेंशन है, ठीक है। इस सवाल में मॉड वी डेल्टा किस बस पे मेंशन होता है? स्लैक बस पे। तो ये थर्ड बस हमारा स्लैक बस होगी। यहाँ P और Q मेंशन है तो सेकेंड बस हमारा PQ बस होगी। और यहाँ पे इस सोर्स को लगा के मॉड वी मेंटेन किया गया, तो मॉड वी मेंटेन किया गया है, वोल्टेज मेंटेन किया गया, तो ये PV बस होगी। तो आप अपने हिसाब से आंसर देख लीजिए, ठीक है, ऑप्शंस मैच करा लीजिए। ये होंगे हमारे क्वेश्चंस। अच्छा हाँ, एक फॉल्ट का भी क्वेश्चन है। इस फॉल्ट की क्वेश्चन में इन्होंने कहा है कि एक सिस्टम है जिसमें एक जनरेटर ट्रांसफार्मर, मतलब दो जनरेटर और एक ट्रांसफार्मर है, सॉरी ये जनरेटर, ये मोटर इन्होंने लिखा। तो एक सिंक्रोनस जनरेटर एक सिंक्रोनस मोटर को पावर दे रहा है इस ट्रांसफार्मर की मदद से। ट्रांसफार्मर का कनेक्शन स्टार इस साइड है, डेल्टा इस साइड। और इन्होंने इस सिस्टम का तीनों नेटवर्क बना के आपको दिया और बोला है कि बस 1 पे डबल लाइन फॉल्ट हुआ है, बताइए फॉल्ट करंट क्या होगा। तो ये तो बहुत आसान है ना, डबल लाइन फॉल्ट के लिए आपको जीरो सीक्वेंस नेटवर्क चाहिए ही नहीं, तो नहीं भी दिया होता तो भी सॉल्व हो जाता। क्या करना होता है, पहले आपको बस नंबर 1 पे फॉल्ट स्टडी करनी है, तो बस 1 से लेके रेफरेंस के बीच का थेवेनिन सर्किट लिखना होगा, इसके लिए भी, पॉजिटिव के लिए भी और नेगेटिव के लिए भी। तो मैंने पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव दोनों के लिए थेवेनिन सर्किट लिखा है। नोटिस करिए, जब आप पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव का थेवेनिन सर्किट लिखोगे, अच्छा लोडिंग वोडिंग कुछ नहीं है, वोल्टेज रेटेड है, तो जो थेवेनिन वोल्टेज होगा पॉजिटिव में 1 एंगल 0 होगा। बेसिकली ये दोनों भी 1 एंगल 0 होंगे और थेवेनिन वोल्टेज भी 1 एंगल 0 होगा। और थेवेनिन रिएक्टेंस कितना होगा, यहाँ से यहाँ के बीच में अगर आप देखोगे तो ये 0.2 और 0.3 का पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन, यानी 0.12 हो गया। तो ये पॉजिटिव का थेवेनिन हो गया फॉल्ट पॉइंट से ग्राउंड के बीच में, और नेगेटिव का थेवेनिन फॉल्ट पॉइंट से ग्राउंड के बीच में लोगे तो ये हो जाएगा 0.2, क्योंकि इंपीडेंस आपको दिख रहा है 0.2 और 0.3 का पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन 0.12। तो पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव का थेवेनिन लिखने के बाद डबल लाइन फॉल्ट में एक दूसरे को जोड़ के लिख देते, एक दूसरे को कनेक्शन कैसे देते हैं डबल लाइन फॉल्ट में, पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव के थेवेनिन को आप एक दूसरे को ZF के साथ बेसिकली जोड़ना होता है। बट ZF तो बोला है सवाल में शायद कि ZF 0 है, तो ZF को 0 ले लिया। अब इस सर्किट को सॉल्व करके IAF1 क्या मिलेगा, देखो ऐसे सिंपल केवीएल लगाओ, 1 एंगल 0, IF1 इज 1 एंगल 0 डिवाइडेड बाय 0.12 प्लस 0.12, तो ये IAF1 आया। आपसे फॉल्ट करंट पूछा है, तो फॉल्ट करंट क्या होता है डबल लाइन फॉल्ट में, √3 IF1 होता है। तो मैग्नीट्यूड वाइज कितना हो जाएगा 4.16 इंटू √3 विच इज 7.21। ये हो गया हमारा डबल लाइन की केस में फॉल्ट करंट, ठीक है। तो ये हो गया हमारा पावर सिस्टम का सोल्यूशन, जो मेरे पास है क्वेश्चन उसका ये सोल्यूशन है। इसके बाद ये मेजरमेंट का भी एक क्वेश्चन है जिसको मुझे सॉल्व करने के लिए बोला गया। तो मेजरमेंट का क्वेश्चन एक ही क्वेश्चन आया था मेरे ख्याल से, तो पावर सिस्टम में तो मेरे ख्याल से 1-2 क्वेश्चन और आया था, लेकिन उसको पूरा क्लियर डेटा नहीं मेरे पास, तो उसको इसलिए मैं अभी सॉल्व नहीं करूंगा। जैसे ही इस डेटा क्लियर आ जाएगा फिर हम लोग आपको सोल्यूशन दे देंगे। बट अभी के लिए जितना पावर सिस्टम में मेरे ख्याल से एक दो क्वेश्चन और है, ठीक है, एक ट्रांसमिशन लाइन का है, एक और रिले का है। तो उस क्वेश्चंस के मेरे पास पूरे एग्जैक्ट डेटा नहीं थे, इसलिए हमने उसको सॉल्व नहीं किया। मेजरमेंट का ये क्वेश्चन था, इसमें आपको पूछा है, इस कनेक्शन को देख के आप कोई भी बता सकता है सर इस कनेक्शन से सिंगल वाट मीटर मेथड में सिंगल वाट मीटर की मदद से, इस कनेक्शन की मदद से हम लोग रिएक्टिव पावर मेजर करते हैं। जो भी ये वाट मीटर की रीडिंग होगी उसमें √3 से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे, 3 फेज रिएक्टिव पावर इस लोड के लिए मेजर हो जाए। ठीक, अब इन्होंने कहा है कि ये जो वाट मीटर है वो -400 मेजर कर रहा है। -400 का मतलब ही है लीडिंग पावर। अगर वाट मीटर ने नेगेटिव रीडिंग किया है तो लीडिंग पावर फैक्टर होगा लोड का। ये बात अपने आप में समझ में आ रहा है। अब इसको सॉल्व कैसे करेंगे? आपने ये पढ़ा होगा डिटेल में मेजरमेंट में कि बहुत आसान है, ऐसे बेसिक है सवाल ये मेजरमेंट के लिए। तो इस वाली कनेक्शन से जब आपने इस वाट मीटर को सिंगल वाट मीटर में आपने ये कनेक्शन को यूज किया, तो ये बेसिकली रिएक्टिव पावर मेजरमेंट, 3 फेज रिएक्टिव पावर मेजरमेंट के लिए यूज किया जाता है। अब इसको मैं बहुत डिटेल में नहीं डिस्कस करूंगा, आपने समझ रखा हो करंट कॉइल कहाँ है और पोटेंशियल कॉइल कहाँ है। तो इस हिसाब से आप देखिए, नेगेटिव जो रीडिंग है वो इंडिकेट कर रहा है रिएक्टिव पावर, नेगेटिव जो वाटमीटर की रीडिंग नेगेटिव में है वो इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि लोड का पावर फैक्टर लीडिंग है। तो ये दोनों आंसर तो वैसे ही समझ में आ रहे हैं कि गलत है, इन दोनों में से ही एक होगा, ये समझ में आ रहा है। अब ध्यान दीजिए, जो भी इस वाटमीटर की रीडिंग होगी, मैं चाहूं तो फेजर्स बना के भी समझा सकता हूं, बट इस वाटमीटर की रीडिंग जो होगी बेसिकली वो √3 VL/IL sin थीटा होगी। ठीक है, जहां पे थीटा क्या है, लोड के लिए इंपीडेंस, लोड के लिए लोड एंगल, पावर फैक्टर एंगल भी कह सकते। क्या होगा, वाटमीटर रीडिंग विद दिस कनेक्शन जो होगा, इट इज नथिंग बट √3 VL/IL sin थीटा। ठीक, अब वाटमीटर रीडिंग दिया -400, ध्यान रखिएगा ये -400 वाटमीटर की रीडिंग। अगर आपसे पूछे कि लोड कितना 3 फेज रिएक्टिव पावर ले रहा है, तो वो 400 मतलब 400 √3 होगा। ठीक है, √3 टाइम्स ज्यादा होगा। तो ये वाटमीटर की रीडिंग -400 है, √3 VL जो लाइन वोल्टेज दिया है 400 दिया है, लाइन करंट चूंकि स्टार कनेक्शन लोड का दिया है तो लाइन करंट फेज करंट सेम है, तो लाइन करंट 2 हो गया, साइन थीटा हमको कैलकुलेट करना है। यहां से आप सॉल्व करोगे तो थीटा -30, ये माइनस थीटा इंडिकेट कर रहा है लीडिंग पावर फैक्टर। यहां से भी समझ में आ रहा है, यहां से भी ये माइनस रीडिंग भी लीडिंग पावर फैक्टर इंडिकेट कर रहा है, और थीटा माइनस में आया ये भी लीडिंग पावर फैक्टर इंडिकेट कर रहा है। अब यहां से अगर आपसे कोई बोलेगा कि भाई थीटा तो मिल गया, पावर फैक्टर cos थीटा होता है, तो cos ऑफ -30 0.866 और पावर फैक्टर कैसे है, लीडिंग। तो ये आसान सवाल था, इसमें कोई डिस्कशन का कोई खास मतलब नहीं। ठीक है, तो ये है हमारा पावर सिस्टम और मेजरमेंट। होपफुली आपने अच्छा किया होगा। थैंक यू।
Dear student, this question resembles something out of syllabus, but still we shall discuss this one. It's about the microcontroller, basic microcontroller. So there are some flags given. We have to find out what is the status of these flags based on these instructions. Very simple. If you have a basic knowledge of instructions or a microprocessor, you can easily solve this. So look at this question, move 60 to R0. So what is the binary pattern of 60? 0 1 1 0 0 0 0 0. This is the 60 hexadecimal. So in binary this is the value, right? So what is 46? 0 1 0 0 0 1 1 0, right? So these are the two contents of R0 and R1, and finally you have to add R1 and R0, and result should be stored in the R0. And he is asking what is the status of these flags. Very simple, you just add it. What is the answer if you add these two? So it is 0 1 1 0 0 1, and this is 0 1 1, right? So what is the value of this one? It is A6H.
right. So based on this, let us find out the status of flags. So what is the status of carry flag? So he's asking what is the status of CAOP. This is the binary value. What is this value equivalent in the decimal? That is a question asked. Very simple. So now look at this. What is the carry flag? 2 or 8 bit data. There is no carry out of 8th bit. Therefore carry flag is 0. Auxiliary carry is from lower nibble to higher nibble. So this one is D3, D0. So carry from D3 to D4 bit. So there is no as such carry. So auxiliary is 0. Next one is overflow flag. So what is overflow? In a signed operation, if the result of the signed arithmetic is more than the representable range, then overflow will come. Observe these two. If you take signed numbers, only 7 bits are magnitude, 8 bit is signed. So 0 means positive, this is also positive. When you are adding two positive values, the result means this is the MSB bit, right? So the result is showing as negative. It means overflow is present, and hence we can say overflow is 1. Parity. How many binary ones are there in the answer? 1, 2, 3, 4. Even. Even means parity is 0. Therefore, this is the binary pattern of the flags, and he's asking what is the equivalent decimal value. Very simple, it is 2. It is 2 in the decimal value. So simple question, just 2 marks numerical type of question. So it's easy to understand. So don't worry about it. Thank you. All the best, dear students. Thank you.